Professional football in America is a special game, a unique game. Played nowhere else on earth, it is a rare game. The men who play it make it so.
Hey, everyone in, let's go. Huddle up on three. 1, 2, 3, huddle up.
Y'all ain't done no play football before. These guys are nothing.
You hear me?
They please us like we do.
Yes, sir.
They sweat us like we do.
Do you hear me?
They went through 2 days. We went through 2 days in 110-degree heat.
Yes, sir.
I want you to hit everything to move. If the ref gets in your way, you hit him.
Okay, then, let's play.
But they're cheating us too. They're against us too. This is our team. This is us. Let's go right now. Let's get it up now. Let's go.
Back-to-back, man. You do not see this in college football.
But the Georgia Bulldogs bludgeon their way to back-to-back. Glory, glory, Georgia, as the fight song says.
For the lead. Butker up, got it. And the Kansas City Chiefs have won Super Bowl 57. And now, welcome everyone to the Huddle Up Podcast.
You are looking live.
Hello, everyone. Welcome, Huddle Up Podcast. It is Tuesday, November the 28th, 2023. And boy, are we getting down to the biggest, the most important games of the season, both in college and the NFL, as the NFL season starts its final push. The college football season is really kind of at the end, and we will talk about Conference Championship Weekend, the second to last college football playoff rankings of the year, and of course, much, much more. But welcome in. Ernest Christian will be joining us here, allegedly, momentarily.
Does he have to?
Well, I mean, I think, unfortunately, I think he can let himself in. Otherwise, I wouldn't let him in. But student of the game, Kyle Nash, how we doing this week?
An honor, joy, and privilege to jump in, Big Jim. A lot of situations happened this week. Get ready for a ton of, I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen this week. And I am more than happy to bring that forth. And I can assure you that the civilized human beings that Matt and I are, we will keep it all friendly here for the upcoming Sunday. Would have liked to see the actual finish to the conference championship game last year, but Hassan Reddick had something to say to Brock Purdy's arm. I'm just anyway. So looking forward to it this week, gentlemen.
I mean, bad things happen, right? And Matt, welcome back. Few weeks off, but how we doing?
Few weeks off, yeah. It's we're doing well. One of those rare weekends where both Notre Dame and the Eagles won, and the Sixers won too.
Their season's over, Matt. I don't know why.
I don't know why either. The Flyers may have won. I don't know that their season really is over. But
I mean, their season, I would argue their season is the most surprising out of any of the 4 majors in the city of Philadelphia, because they've been better than expected.
Wait, guys, I know you're hockey people, but the Flyers, when did Calgary get involved?
I am not a hockey person. I've loosely followed the Flyers.
Oh,
and
Matt,
that's about it.
I thought you were into sports involving tough people, but then again, you do follow baseball. Anyways.
Wow, so rude, this one.
Don't be rude.
You can make sure you follow us on all of our social media, Huddle Up Podcast, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube as well. Get our merchandise over at tpublic.com, and make sure you're subscribed on all podcast platforms. But guys, we might as well dive right into it. We got plenty to cover tonight. And you know what time it is. As we do each and every week, as the student's eyebrow over there is shaping us up, we look back at the weekend that was, with the good, the bad, and the ugly. Oh, Devin joining us here on the live comments. Yeah, if you're following along with us live, Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, comment away. Devin says, hope we had a good Thanksgiving. Devin, hope you had the same. That guy always,
always be among the last to wish you.
Punk.
Matt, since you're on the comeback this week, what was good this past weekend?
I'm gonna give that to Washington for surviving. It
Hey,
probably could have gone either way, but when you have those in-state rivals and when you're at the finish line, it would be very Pac-12-ish of that team to stumble. But they didn't. Congrats to them. Capped off a season that I think was a lot more impressive than any of us were anticipating. Still have probably the best win. You can make the argument for Michigan still, but I think that toe-to-toe Oregon would probably beat Ohio State. So I would give my good to Washington for getting through the schedule, making it to the finish line, because some teams aren't always that fortunate.
Yeah, no, it was a little bit scary for those that
Not a pretty
maybe
win,
maybe
but the
don't want
results.
maybe don't want chaos or too much chaos, or if you are a Washington fan, definite little nerves there at the end. But hey, I think there's most teams in the playoff conversation that have had a ugly win or two here. So the trick is you find a way to come out on top. Obviously, they're in the Pac-12 title game. Student of the game, Kyle Nash, what was your good from this past weekend?
listen, if Matt had come out with his homer take of the overtime win over the Bills, that would have been acceptable. And I almost went there, but nah, I'm gonna stay cocky. My lock of the week landed. My good is the Wildcats of Kentucky having some bird to eat like the rest of us, most of us did at Thanksgiving, and supplanting the fraudacious Louisville Cardinals.
I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen.
Thank you, Jim. That was beautiful. And yet somehow the AP writers still have UCF at 4. I don't get that trash. But we listen, the AP poll doesn't matter all that much. You want to listen to me gripe about that, you can always check out the Student of the Game report on the Earnestly Speaking podcast. Bing! Thank you, Jim. But yeah, just
cold in Pennsylvania today. I had to find my ding.
Yeah, there's plenty. Listen, there's plenty of other good. Matt picked an excellent, if you will. I'll leave certain other homers to bring forth what will probably be their choice, and rightly so.
Here, let me pick that one off for you, because Deron Bland's interception pick 6 record is mine.
You're good. You're good.
That's my that is my good for the weekend. I mean, I could have went with Ryan Day's shame walk after the game. I could have went with James Madison actually getting to go bowling, because there's not enough 6-win teams in college football. I don't know if that's a good or a bad, because it depends what angle you're looking at it. Ryan Day's shame walk could be a good or bad, depending what.
You know what? For the sake of my football / wrestling fans in the building, the good could be that we can all at least sort of believe that the tirade delivered by Pat McAfee actually had an effect.
Yeah, that's true. Deron Bland setting the pick 6 record on the season with his 5th in game number 12. So not having to go into that. Well, he played 17 games and other guys only played. He got it out of the way early. So definitely good to see.
By the way, Jim, how about the presence of Ann Arbor getting involved? And I'm going to need you to hit the clat here pretty soon. But when it comes to the Zach Zenter, that the injury was a big deal, him breaking his leg, and if that had occurred, in Columbus, I believe that would have been problematic. I believe the team would have remained deflated. But make sure you listen to Joel Klatt's account of what
rightly so,
because well done, Jim, because he describes it in such a fashion, in something that the home audience would not have been involved with. And as he's describing it, he's getting emotional. And the way he tells the story, I listen, I had my son in the car, so I could have chosen to show what it is to feel emotion about things, but he doesn't understand football right yet. So I didn't want to worry him, that daddy was shedding tears, but I got misty, him talking about him, the Zent going down, and the way this team rallied, the way the crowd got involved. I don't care who you're a fan of, even the most righteously, petty of Buckeye fan has to just respect a football venue coming to the aid of their team to make that win happen. And it's not like it was a distant win. They already had so much going against them with Harbaugh getting suspended, yada, yada, yada. So yeah, I certainly think as to kind of build on your good that moment gets pointed out here as part of that game. And it's something you want to see in what could be the last game between those two that has this kind of magnitude in it ever again. So
right, because I mean, again, when you look at beginning next season, the result of the game, as it were, this week, number 2 versus number 3. Now college football playoff rankings and conference championship weekend still forthcoming. The door is not open very far for Ohio State to find their way in. I'm not saying it's impossible. Again, we lived through last season, but I think it is harder this year. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, next year
later,
it's not a crushing blow in a 12-team playoff world, because and it's something that we'll dive into next week when we look at bowl matchups and the semifinal and all of that and what a 12 team would look like. But in this case, Ohio State would still be playing. So it's not going to have the same stakes necessarily from year to year. So all right, let's go to the bad. Kyle, what was your bad from this past weekend?
I'm going to be petty about it. How was Louisville?
Devin had his good. He said the pick six from the Jets to his Dolphins. The Hail Mary pick six. Not something you see every day, but then again, it is what the Jets are at this point, but very
not
cool.
Great, Bob.
Yeah, man, Jets fans are going through it.
Not great, Bob.
Anyway, Kyle, yes, you're bad.
Yeah, and to be clear, I want the record to show, like, if it sounded like I was about to say something different and then change my mind, it's because I did. Josh Dobbs, that poor bastard. You got EJ Christian on his show, the Earnestly Speaking podcast, and it's a shame he's not here to stare this down, talking about how the Vikings are a lock for the playoffs. And I'll admit, I even made the statement. I wonder if you can play that riff on an Alpine horn. That's a great question you just posed there, Jim. But I feel like even I made the statement that maybe Josh Dobbs gives them a better chance than one, as he's known on this show, Kirk Coupons. If Josh Dobbs at the helm is better, apparently not. 12-10.
Maybe it's just the Vikings in prime time are bad.
Listen, whatever
that's something we need to delve into.
Whatever it is, I need you to find the Windows sound. Boo-doo-doo-boo. They need a reboot, and they need it right now. Both them and the Bears. Call it the Microsoft Bowl, bitches. That's what I'm saying. Reboot both these teams. Just awful football. Is it worse than the Pats and Giants? Yes, because allegedly, the Vikings had a play.
Allegedly.
So yeah,
but at least with the Giants, you have Tommy Mozzarella out there slinging the ball. So they're
racist.
John Paul checking in on the YouTube channel. He says thoughts about the Seahawks making the playoffs. I think they make it because nobody else in the NFC will. I mean, and that's kind of the sad thing about it. The Seahawks obviously sitting at 6-5. We'll talk about them.
In their brutal 3-game stretch coming up.
Yeah, they have a couple times, but if you look at that NFC race, outside of the current 7, I mean it's pretty bleak. It really is kind of bleak. And I mean, I think the Packers are making a little bit of noise right now. I mean, again, that's how sad the NFC playoff picture is, that the 5-6 Packers are the ones making noise. But outside of the 7 spot, you have 5-6 Green Bay, 5-6 Rams, 5-6 Saints. Then you have the Bucks at 4-7, the Giants at 4-8, the Bears at 4-8, the Commanders at 4-8. Like the Seahawks at 6-5 are sitting pretty just because everybody else sucks.
Well, and listen, this was a big game this past Thanksgiving as well because they played the 49ers, obviously a big one for the division. But Jim, I tried to hearken all of you, but you were unable to take my implication. Can you please play the translation for those who didn't catch it?
I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen.
Carry on.
Yeah, I mean, what Seattle can do in the playoffs once they get there, that's another discussion for another week. I mean, right now, if the playoffs started this weekend, they would draw the Lions, which outside of the Cowboys-Falcons matchup would be the second best of the first round. If
They
you
would
want
draw the Lions?
Yeah, because they're the 6th spot, and then the Vikings would draw the 49ers as it sits today.
Right. That would be a vengeance game. Oh, Christ.
You know what I mean? So, like, it's the second. You don't have to play the Niners, basically what I'm saying. Could they win that first game? I think they could, and especially the Lions have been a little shaky as of late. But, yeah, we will certainly talk about the Seahawks here coming up in our NFL predictions this week. Matt, what was your bad from this past weekend?
I'm going to give it to your frisky Lions, Jim. Every year they get the Thanksgiving game. Every year they usually play tough on Thanksgiving. Granted, they lose, but they show some heart. Yep. This year, the year where they are finally good, they lay an egg to the Packers, a team that they finally could have had some revenge on, a team that has dominated and owned that division for many years and not given Detroit a glimmer of hope of winning it. And instead, multiple first quarter turnovers. They're in a hole that they couldn't climb out of. They give no fans in Detroit a reason to celebrate Thanksgiving again.
Brutal, man. Yeah, I one of my coworkers is from just outside of Detroit, and she's like, this is why we don't believe. This is why stuff like this is why we just know bad things are coming around the corner.
And I mean, we scoff at Goff, but he usually isn't as turnover prone
that's
as
what
he was in that game.
Yeah, that's what was wild about it, is he's been so good with the football for most of this season, and really in two of the 3 Lions losses, a lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of it has rested on his inability to protect the football. So, John Paul, we will talk about this. He's asking about Washington's probability of winning the
winter is coming, John Paul.
Winning the national championship. We're certainly going to talk about conference title games, playoff rankings here in a couple minutes. Stick with us here. We will get to those. Appreciate the comments and the interaction. Give us a like and a share wherever you are watching it. Certainly do appreciate that. My bad, and I kind of joked about it with Ryan Day's shame walk, but the response from Ohio State, and not everybody involved with Ohio State, but I mean, I haven't checked it in the last 24 hours or so, but like the Ohio State official social media accounts never acknowledged the final score of the game. One of their receivers coaches were like verbally harassing one of Michigan's wide receivers in like social media comments. Just not a good look from multiple fronts.
If I might be able to deliver a dramatization, that would be a wambulance for those who
I get it, man. I get it's a rivalry. I get it's a heated rivalry. But just not a great look.
Surprising to see from such a classy program too.
Right. I know it. And that's why I felt like I needed to bring it up because maybe this is one blemish one blemish on the record of the Buckeyes here.
But Jim Harbaugh is a repeat offender, you see. So
that is true, man. But yeah, just not a good look. I mean, especially, I think the one that really stuck out to me was the wide receivers coach. Like, man, you're supposed to be a
grown-ass man,
the grown-ass man in the room. You're supposed to be a leader, a guy trusted with being a mature voice to kids that you're teaching, and you're going to do that. That's a bad look, man. That's a bad look.
One would say him doing that makes him sound ridiculous. What do you think I was going to say, Jim?
There it is. There it is. Ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
All right, Matt, what was your ugly from this past weekend?
I'm just going to give it in general to the NFC South, where you have the 1-10 Panthers sitting there, and they are not mathematically eliminated from playoff contention just because they could still possibly win that division. Awful.
Not great, Bob.
Awful.
I thought they did get eliminated this week. I thought I saw that. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe, listen.
I don't think so. I think
you
they
might
could
be
still...
delivering some hope to Matt by way. Good God.
Despite the possibility that EJ's preseason prediction that we could see the Saints be the number 1 overall seed in the NFC, it's a shame that he's not here.
No.
Even though he has the Cowboys in the Super Bowl too, there as you know, showing his fandom.
But overall, just I don't think that anyone in that organization has been put in a position that they can succeed. Quarterback, no. Coach, no. No talent around the team really at all. They spend all their money kind of in places that make no sense, giving Miles Sanders a huge contract to then give him 4 carries a game. Not that he's doing anything with it, because the Panthers O-line and the Eagles O-line little different. So obviously he's not going to see the same level of success.
Slight over. That's right.
Yeah, just a slight edge to the Eagles.
And Matt, you are right. I did check it. Jordan has it here as well. He said they can still make it. Now they can, with a loss this weekend, the Panthers would be eliminated. So, but I thought I had seen that, but I was incorrect.
Division game though, they're playing the Bucks, so that will keep a glimmer of hope alive for them.
Oh my God, I feel bad for the people who actually paid full price early in the season on that one, because the resale on those tickets has to be pretty low.
If you buy a toaster, you get those tickets with the purchase.
I saw somebody break into a car, and there was 2 Panthers tickets on the dash, and they left 4 more for them. So
they offer the tickets if you buy the toaster. Most people are just waiting until after the game to buy the toaster now.
Correct. Yeah, they're just like, you know what? I don't need a toaster yet.
No, I'll just have some cold bread. Screw this game.
There we go. Kyle, what was your ugly from this past weekend?
Apparently that cold bread joke. No, listen, man, I'll tell you the ugly is the security van getting in here this late. You better have captured the perpetrator, you son of a. Anyways, no, listen, my ugly from this past weekend is the Matt Rule firing. All we're saying about the Panthers and stuff, and as ugly as it is, I don't really think that's on him.
Frank Reich firing?
Or what I say, Rule? Yeah, Frank Reich.
Matt Rule.
Yeah,
same person.
I mean, that was maybe ugly last year, but yes,
they're both white. It's okay.
That one was a little bit more deserved, I would say. Than this one.
I'm forced to agree.
Which one, Reich or Rule?
Rule.
Right.
I think Frank Reich's he hasn't even had a full year.
No.
Under the belt. Like, it's less than 365 days since. But it's obviously, based on all the points that Matt has made, completely his fault. And if you believe the scuttlebutt that's alleged, according to our capital J journalism, allegedly, from Zach the Degenerate, that was presented on the Earnestly Speaking podcast, that the drafting of one Bryce Young was not the preference of Frank Reich, was not a decision to be made under Frank's Reich. That's what we'll say.
Okay.
So if that's even true, then what the hell are they blaming him for? And let's just say you're trying to make him a scapegoat from what? You've screwed yourself so royally with these trades for that draft pick now that what are you going to do to try to recover? You're just in a completely garbage situation. The GM is the issue, not the coach, and the coach taking that scapegoating just to save the GM for what? Maybe a season? We'll see what happens. But yeah, no, I don't know that that's the thing. I was going to say that my ugly for this weekend was actually from earlier today, recording with EJ Christian, trying to tell me that Tua Tagovailoa is an inferior comeback player of the year candidate to Russell Carrington Wilson, but I thought I would do a stay of execution on that.
Dumbass!
What
are you talking about?
EJ, what was your ugly from this past week?
Can I do a turbo of good and bad real quick?
Nope, you missed it.
Hurry up.
My good, FSU, hell yeah, unbeaten and prevent.
I
More important. That's right. More importantly, the hated Gators non-bowl eligible. Love it.
A, you can love that all you want. B,
don't give a fuck.
as adorable as that is, and I have to admit, it does tickle me a little bit that the Gators failed to be bowl eligible 2 years removed from losing the Gus Perola to UCF, which I witnessed in person when I was covering it for the Black and Gold Banneret.
Dang.
Jim. It ain't like your Knowles looked that all great doing it.
No, I'm not. Look, I'm not praising those.
It damn sure didn't look like a team
I'm
that
not praising them, but I literally just praised them.
But you know what?
Like
But guess what? Guess what?
AJ, what was your bad?
They covered the spread. That's all
Shut
that
up.
is. My bad is Ohio State fans. You guys suck. You guys
I
suck.
believe it was Jim's bad as well. Was it?
Was it really bad also?
Ohio State's response, but we can lump the fans into that.
No, seriously, this is bad, dude. Look. I know your standards are be Michigan a bust. I get it. Ryan Day probably should get fired based on your standards. Whatever. But I mean,
lifetime contract.
Here's the thing. Like,
I don't think if you're a Michigan fan that you actually want that. Ryan,
like you're lumping, saying Ohio State fans have high expectations. I won't lump just Ohio State fans into that one. Like that's any fan base. They want to win and you want to win now.
There's entitlement. Jim.
I feel like it's a special case though with this one, man. I mean, they're certainly louder of the bunch I've heard in the last like 5
Yeah,
6 years.
I mean it's been. Wait, hold on. Let me find the actual number. But I mean, it has been a long time. Specifically 1,459 days since Ohio State has beaten Michigan. So add another 365-ish to that, and you're going to get where they are, to have the next opportunity. The issue, I think, and I'm not sitting here saying that Ryan Day should be fired. Okay,
right. No,
I'm not that guy, but the facts of the case are he has lost 3 in a row to Michigan. He is 1-7 against teams in the top 8.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're talking playoff caliber teams, I think that is as much of the story from Ohio State standpoint,
right?
As it
beat
is
Notre Dame, and he stuck it to Lou Holtz, Jim, and that's all that really.
Oh man, I love, that should have been my good. Was the Lou Holtz response video? But yeah. So I think that might have more to do with it. Is that it's
maybe, but I mean,
you're doing really good at beating Rutgers and Northwestern.
Right.
Awesome.
I will say they're literally a missed field goal from beating Georgia last year.
They're just like FSU, is what you're saying there.
They're literally a missed field goal from being the only team beat Georgia in 3 years. Just saying, but whatever.
But they didn't.
I know. I get it.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing is eventually close enough doesn't get the job done at Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean,
clearly at Penn State it does, but Ohio State it does not.
For all the trash talk that we make upon Ohio State, and rightly so. I feel like,
and rightly so,
the point about Marvin Harrison Jr. getting hurt during the playoff last year,
mm-hmm.
absolutely relevant, very legitimate. I don't disagree with that either. But listen, at day's end,
you're also an offense that has CJ Stroud and other weapons. So like,
correct.
If you can't coach around that, again, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Like I said, Michigan
didn't look great beating Notre Dame, by the way.
No, they didn't, and I will still argue that was more about Notre Dame flinching
totally
in the moment than it was Ohio State grasping the moment.
Totally agree.
We don't need to talk too much about Notre Dame flinching, considering what you all handed to Dabo and allowing Louisville to remain relevant. And I blame you.
But is Louisville relevant though? They lost to Kentucky. Oh, I mean, like, I wouldn't say that they are still relevant at this point of the season.
Folks, see, this is when we get into Jim's politics. That's called pandering. And he did a wonderful job of pandering to the student of the game on that one.
From the Georgia delegation, Jordan points out Harrison hadn't caught a pass in a quarter and a half when he got hurt. So it's not a guarantee. It's not a
point for a big play is just football ignorant, and you can keep that comment to yourself, sir.
No, but the point is that it's not a guarantee that if he is in that game, they win.
That's kind of mean, Kyle.
It is, because I'm trying to remember if I got the wrong game in mind, but I think there was a number of penalties that were involved with that. Like I think there was a catch that was called back. I could be wrong, but
Kyle, that was mean and so on brand for you. Go ahead.
All right, EJ. Finally, what was your ugly?
You mean
this past
dunking
weekend?
on bad takes? Yeah, you know all about that, don't you?
All right, my ugly is Colorado football. And let me frame this. If you had told me before the year started that Colorado would finish the year 4-8, given what we saw last year in the last couple of years, really, you would have said, "Well, that's an improvement. Not a bowl team, but hell, it's 3 more wins they got last year." But it's the way it came down. They came out the gate first couple of weeks of the year. They were the story of college football for a good 3-4 weeks. They lose the games supposed to. The USC
hold on.
game.
Before you go any further with that, as it relates to what TCU was not at the beginning of the year when everybody was trying to crown that win.
I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen.
Okay, continue, EJ.
And this is what I hate about it too now, because of the way the season went now, it looks like a failure. When in fact, you look at the whole totality of the situation.
Only to be ignorant, EJ.
No, agreed. But it's all about what have you done for me lately? 6 losses in a row. It looks bad.
In 7 of the last 8, yes.
There we go. It looks bad optics-wise. So again, this is what I was afraid of. You get all the flowers early. Everybody's bragging. Shedeur Sanders bragging and doing the whole thing, that whole thing, and then reality hits, and you're now second to last in the Pac-12. I mean, it looks bad. The last in the Pac-12. There we go. So
conference record-wise,
they won 1 game in the Pac-12.
Right, exactly. So it optics it looks bad. No, look, do I believe in Deion Sanders returning around? Yeah, I'm still riding that ship.
3 games better than last year looks
No,
bad. I know you know better, but I this needs to be said for the audience at home that if you're just going to do that, it's not a good take, and I think that's part of your point.
I'm not. Go ahead, Jim. Go ahead.
To EJ's point, because this is one of the 3 things, all of them have been covered, that I had in my uglies, is I think in the last week you've lost 2 5-star recruits.
That is
coming out of this season. So like everything looked great when you're 3-1 and there's flash, there's flare, all of this, and now all of a sudden. And again, I get it. Recruits come and go, transfer portal, the world's all different and everything. But
exactly.
It is a bit of a gut check. I said prior to the season.
That's the right word, Jim, right there.
A gut check to who? Do you think Deion isn't aware he can replace your 5-star ass in 30 seconds?
Is it going to be that easy? When you lose 7 out of 8 games?
Yeah.
I think
I
think the problem is it's not so much that we're 3 out the shoot. It's just the way they came out with the braggadocious. And look, I don't mind it, but again, if you're gonna do that, and the shoes on the other foot now, you gotta. It kind of looks,
No, listen, and if it does, you don't play for Deion at your own peril. When he retools that offensive line, and that's his focus. He's going to be in a position to make another 3 or 4 win jump in his record. And by the way, playing in the Big 12, that's fascinating. I don't know what to make of what they're going to be next year because the Big 12 is just ridiculous.
Yeah, me neither. I'm curious.
So we need to stop dancing on the grave of Deion Sanders here. This is ridiculous.
Right.
I'm not saying you did that. I'm a little hyperbolic there. But no, I don't. I just to declare that Colorado's suddenly dead when they're still building.
Right. I don't think that's what we're doing. I think we're somewhat evaluating 7 out of 8 weeks where they looked bad. And I understand that's this year's team, but I don't think it's an incorrect assessment.
What a buzzsaw they ran into in their schedule late in the year, too. Do we have to talk about that again?
Okay, that's fine, but you gave up a 30-point lead to Stanford at home?
Yeah, that's a bad look.
Okay.
That you would have loved to have that game back.
Sure. And Arizona. But is that about Arizona getting better or is that about them being bad? At the end of the day, it's still a guy who has the juice to be transformative, who did put Colorado back on the map to make Joel Klatt look the most homer he's ever looked, by the way.
Oh, my God. Remember those days?
Brutal.
September.
and listen, I say that because it takes a lot to do that to a good analyst like Joel Klatt, but it happened, okay? I'm not prepared to come out here and tell you that Colorado's the next national champion and the first national champion of the 12-team playoff. That is not what I'm saying. I am telling you that they are the most relevant. They have the potential to be the most relevant. And screw it, guys. They were still the most relevant they've been since Cordell Stewart was a quarterback at the damn program.
They have, and that's why I declared the season of victory before it even started. But I don't think declaring their 7 out of their last 8 games as ugly is off base. That's all. I think that's all the point is saying.
Well, if you moved the if you move the goalpost on the expectation throughout the season, cool. But it's the same thing that, and I'll take UCF as an example. Oh, we're in the Big 12. We can get 8 wins. No, you can't.
But Kyle, this is exactly
Off the breaks. They got to 6 wins. I picked Colorado to get to 6 wins. They could have had 6 wins. Arizona got better, and they blew the Stanford game.
Right.
Fellas, these things happen, especially when the rest of college football catches on to the fact that you have a crap offensive line. Please, guys, tell me how it's a bad take to not see Dion focused on finding big dudes to fix the problem.
Right.
I'm not worried. I'm intrigued. Maybe he will blow it. Maybe we'll go back to this, and all of you will be morning starting the bejesus out of me. Maybe that happens. Maybe Jim's about to write down 3619 on his friggin' thing to track this tirade and build the TikTok for a cold take. I don't know. But as he sets himself up mercilessly to be mocked. But I'm not prepared to say it was just this. I don't know that I'm ready to use the word ugly. Some things happened to a rebuilding program who was exposed and had a number of injuries and was too reliant on single players to the point that they had to go Iron Man.
Kyle, that part,
Here's the thing. If you want to come out in the first 4 weeks and flashing watches and cars and all the swag that Dion has, and that's fine. That's who he is, and that's what his team will be. But that is also going to come back on you in spades if you lose 7 out of 8 games.
Hasn't he been gracious in defeat, though?
He has been.
Yeah,
I'm not taking that away from him. But to get to go on a tirade about declaring 7 out of 8 losses, 7 out of 8 games being losses, and finishing the year when you started off the year acting like you were just going to walk through this thing. Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with declaring that as an ugly. I don't think that's all base.
He was going to walk through it. I would challenge that. But listen, let's say there's not validity, but let's not act like he said crown me now. I
didn't say him, Kyle. It was the whole tone of the team.
Kyle, you know what's sad though?
The whole tone around the program.
You know what's sad, Kyle? I remember an episode we did, you and I, the report, like first 2-3 weeks of the year when they went 2-0, whatever it was, and we kind of warm up this like that's not what we go for, sir.
We did it on this show. I did it on my show, the Student of the Game podcast, bing, with Matt and Michelle. We tried to tell you humpy bumpies, but you wouldn't listen. Now, Jim, if you want to dunk on the lamestream media, homie, I got your back. But for me to go out on the and go after the program for being marketing geniuses and giving these young men the money I keep hearing you claim that they should get because of the billionaires that are the colleges and all this other stuff, I can't support that.
So let me ask you this question. You guys, all three guys, answer this question. Can you call this year a success for Colorado? Kyle.
How the fuck can't you? They're back on the map and they improved 3 wins on top of it.
Matt?
Yes, a success for the program.
Right. Jim?
Absolutely. It was a success before they snapped the ball on the first game.
My issue has always been more so the media crowning them as opposed to the program crowning themselves. I never really had an issue with them building into their own hype. You're going to hear it. You're a young kid. You're having fun. You enjoy yourself. But it was more so just how bent over backwards the media went to try to make Colorado a bigger thing than it was and that we all knew would eventually come crashing down to earth. And then they just kind of immediately wiped their hands up. Like, we never said they'd be good.
It was so annoying seeing First Take going there, doing shows week 3 weeks in. Like they kind of bloviated the whole fucking thing the media did. So yeah, but
no, they were part of the media that bloviated it, sir. Let's not act like they're victims or they're manipulated. They're part of the goddamn conspiracy.
We at Huddle Up have better perspective than most. So
all right, Auburn, Colorado, and the Panthers were all my ugly, so they have all been covered. So we don't need to go further with that. Jordan has Auburn's prevent defense as an ugly.
That's a great call, Jordan. I like that. By the way, my ugly is apparently Jim's hate for another coach and hasn't even coached Notre Dame yet in Deion Sanders.
I mean, I've hated Deion.
Sanders is now part of the family. That's what I'm asking.
I mean, I've hated Deion. I've hated Deion since he played for the 49ers. So this is nothing new, Kyle, for me to hate Deion Sanders.
So that's a pocket in the side. I gotta figure out why I hate Deion so much, though. I don't get it.
It's the flash. Listen, I as a player, I was never fond of Deion either. As a 49er fan, I kind of tolerated that he was on the team, was like, Jerry ain't going to stand for that. It's all good. And he didn't. And then he went to the Cowboys, and they all act like that, but Jim has to embrace it. You know, they all were flashy back in that day.
Oh, they absolutely were. All right, let's go. Good God, that segment took way fucking longer than it needed to.
That's what he said.
Let's go to this week's college football playoff rankings. It is the
Penn State is too high.
Obviously, we will get the final rankings on Sunday as playoff and bowl matchups will be determined. But your top, let's say top 8, because I feel like those are the only ones that probably really have any play at this point. Alabama 8, Texas 7, Ohio State 6, Oregon 5, and your top 4 for this week: Florida State at 4, Washington 3, Michigan 2, and Georgia 1. Matt, your thoughts on this week's rankings?
I think that all kind of looks the way it should, probably the way I expected it to. We knew that Ohio State would drop. I'm glad they dropped behind Oregon. Could have probably put them a little lower, maybe behind Texas. I don't know. I'm not going to pound the table for that, but otherwise, I don't necessarily have too much of an issue with the top 8 being the way it is, because they're all just going to wait to see how next week plays out.
Right. Yeah, I think this was, and this has kind of been the story of this committee. Is it kind of they go the path of least resistance on them?
Trash and bullshit. Yes.
I'm almost afraid to ask about this, but luckily Colorado is not on the list. Kyle, what do you think about this week's rankings?
You know, and I know you guys just concentrate on the top 4, which is already just an absolute fucking shenanigan to the sport. Florida State didn't even look good. They didn't even do like Carnell Jones and light up the opposition. They were a bad football team playing a bad football team, and some bunch of assholes has them as one of the top 4 in the country. Get the entire fuck out of my face. What are we doing here? By the way, if they put Louisville in the top 4, if they win next week, Jim, I'm going to say it here officially. I am boycotting. Shut the fuck up, EJ. This is my goddamn talk.
He's doing it.
Anyways, I am going to boycott this show if Louisville makes the top 4. But listen, don't you all act like it's impossible. How the fuck is Florida State here? What are we doing? Okay,
if Louisville had
shut the fuck up, Jim. I don't care if you're the host. I'm still going, and please mute EJ and his rude bullshit. Unable to properly handle a proper analysis from an analyst who's just frustrated at the sport he covers and loves. Man, this is fucking ridiculous. I can't handle this. What are we doing? And if you don't like my version, hit the clat. This guy right here has said that this de-incentivizes,
and rightly so.
Thank you. Scheduling tougher teams. All that FSU gets to do is just like Notre Dame and hide behind the ACC. What the fuck are we doing here?
Notre Dame's at 17, by the way. Here's the deal.
That too is a crime. How is Iowa ahead of them?
They shouldn't be.
Thank you.
I mean, how's LSU still 4 spots ahead of Notre Dame? I don't know.
You know, hey, listen, but hey, you know what it is? They have a quality loss to the number 4 team in the fucking nation, Jim. That's what it is.
Here's the deal. Had Louisville not vomited all over itself against Kentucky, your theory about them getting into the top 4 with a win over Florida State would be feasible. Here's the deal. If Louisville beats Florida State, they will be no higher than 9 next week. I guarantee. No, I think 10 or 11 is more likely, but no higher than 9.
I mean, listen, if we were betting men,
you know what? That's my early lock. If Louisville wins, they'll be no higher than 9.
I'll tell you, if I had a job, we would be entering a T-Public swag bet on that. If Louisville wins, I would just say higher. I wouldn't lock myself to say anything stupid like top 5, which you can't rule. Jim, your faith in this committee
is not a chance, Kyle.
You have one of your Notre Dame alum in there too, so it's cool. Maybe that's something that'll help
Kyle.
But
Michigan just beat a team that this committee is telling you is better than an Alabama or a Texas team that beat Alabama, and Michigan only moved up 1 spot by beating Ohio State.
They're punishing them for other reasons, though, Jim. The whole
schedule.
And I said, fuck you, EJ. No, it's not the schedule. It's the alleged allegations against Harbaugh for the sign stealing. That's being held against them, I believe. Granted, we won't know because the cowards will never fucking address it. But,
they've addressed it multiple weeks. They said they don't take it into consideration.
Oh, well, let's just take them at face value, Jim, because obviously
I'm just pointing out the fact that they've addressed it.
Obviously, they're out here.
You said they didn't address it. I said they've addressed it. That's all I'm saying.
In college football, and they're doing that. So I absolutely believe them when they say that they're not holding that against it.
Kyle, I didn't say I believe them. You said they didn't address it for the facts of the case, because we like to play that game here, allegedly. I'm just pointing out that they have addressed it.
And I'm saying they're lying assholes. Next question.
That's fine. Let's just make sure we get the correct facts on the table.
Okay. They said it. They just lied about it. Is that better?
There we go. Perfect.
For fuck's sake. Anyways, please tell me the universe any of you live. I'm just going to go down the list. Who thinks Florida State right now can beat Oregon?
I do not.
Ohio State?
No.
Texas?
No.
Bama?
No.
Missouri?
No.
Penn State? Shut the fuck up, Homer.
Yeah, you have the question. Answer the question.
Actually, maybe Penn State. It would be considered a big game, and we all know how James Franklin reacts to big games.
Okay, so you're gonna take Florida State on a technicality, and I think you're nuts there too. I'll even give you a bonus one. Who thinks they'll beat Ole Miss? I sure fucking don't.
No, I don't think they'd beat Ole Miss.
Jordan Travis maybe not without Jordan.
Which welcome back to Jordan Travis isn't playing. Douche, stop. So Penn State,
that's what I fucking said, Dick.
Being a fraud was well stated up front by Matt. So here we go. But
I don't think anybody's gonna fight you on Penn State being a fraud.
Yeah,
you'd be surprised.
Well, not anybody on this panel anyway.
Oh no, I had to do this on the Night Shift podcast for the Black and Gold Banneret. Eric Lopez went into a goddamn. Oh yeah, thank you, Bing. Went into a goddamn lightsaber duel with me. Oh, defense matters. What the shit are we doing? Anyways,
defense. Like, what are you talking about? Michigan told them for 2.5 quarters they were going to run at them, and they couldn't.
I know. They said defend these nuts.
Like, what are we talking about? Defense. Oh, cool. You can stop Nebraska and Iowa. Great job.
By the way, you give great analysis. EJ doesn't care. As you say, defend these nuts, he loses his shit.
No,
I mean,
no, it's not. No, I'm laughing. I love Unhinged Kyle.
It is fun. We don't get it very often.
Well, this is how we just
we got in the text.
I'm shocked you guys can stay calm about it with the way you drop it.
What are you laughing for?
Kyle, I'm a host. I have.
That's why I'm laughing, Kyle. And I was laughing because you said this on the podcast earlier today about Louisville. I figured let him take a nap today. Take a little nap. Wake up. Huddle Up podcast. Maybe I'll bring it up. Round key, roll it up. But to your point though about Michigan, there's a case. There's a case that they should be number one. A case. I'm not saying I'll make the case.
To me, they should be number one.
I will make the case, and this way, I'm not a Marge.
Let me ask you this though.
Real quick, let me make the point. You can build on it because this is what good rapport actually is. If I made my rankings, yeah, Michigan would be one. They have the better resume right now. No disrespect to Georgia, but if resume matters so fucking much, and we're going to inflate FSU, who still has a worse resume than goddamn Oregon, by the way, yeah, Michigan's obviously number one. They've been dominant in all their games, I feel like.
They haven't trailed in the second half all year. They've won the 2 biggest games on their schedule. They did so without their head coach. On the sideline. And there's no disrespect to Georgia, but I mean Georgia almost flinched the game away against Georgia Tech. So even if you're looking at our most recent example, yeah, they were both close games, but Michigan had a much higher quality opponent in that game. So
let me ask you, if that Tech game is close, you think, and Georgia still wins, but it's close because it was close late into the third quarter.
Close by the end.
Does that swap happen? You think?
No.
Well, it obviously doesn't because
the panel has been too lazy.
Well, they pulled away. The score it's not indicative of the game, but it's still the score.
The panel has been too lazy to make any moves like that. Case in point, 30-29. Noller, shut the fuck up.
I love that.
I mean, at least they didn't need 3 overtimes to beat Pitt. There you go, Jim.
God damn.
I mean, you say Georgia pulled away. They won by 8.
Wait,
like
really?
they didn't pull away. Georgia Tech,
wait, was there garbage score? Garbage score?
Yeah, Georgia Tech scored late in that game.
It was 31-13, I thought, like in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and Georgia Tech came back and got it within 8. And I think we're driving, and I can't remember if it was a turnover on downs.
But, you know,
Oh,
sure,
snap.
number 1 team in the land.
Make that swap, bitch. Fuck that. Make that
Oh,
swap.
he's aboard.
That's why
that
it
fucking
should
swap.
happen.
I thought I turned the game off because at that point I go, they got this game won, whatever.
This is why you didn't know. Exactly.
Catching up on some of the comments here. John Paul asked, do the Huskies deserve to be number 2 or maybe even number 1?
No.
No. I think they are great. And he adds that could, if they win the national championship, this Huskies team be considered the best Pac-12 team in history?
No.
I think you're
Who's better?
The USC
those
team.
USC teams in the early 2000s.
Mhm.
Not even close. Sorry, Washington, not even close. Those teams were unreal.
I don't even think this Washington team is better necessarily than the Washington team with Brunell at quarterback.
I think that's fair.
I have the conversation. I'm not.
That's 91, right?
I don't remember the year. That's why I'm calling them the Brunell team.
Because they shared the title with Miami that year. So
let's see. He also he says his 4, Michigan 1, Huskies 2, Georgia 3, and who would we put? Oregon, Ohio State, or FSU at 4? I think Oregon should be the number 4 team. Again, we've seen the progression with this committee. They group the undefeateds, they group the 1-loss teams, they group the 2-loss teams, and it's just they present standings. They don't present rankings. We've been over that each and every week.
And Jim, Jim, too, also to what we've been saying last couple of weeks, and it's become more and more clear now. I don't think we've ever had 4 teams, this many teams unbeaten going into championship weekend.
No, I don't believe.
So
not in the playoff.
This is an anomaly.
The whole reason that the 4-team playoff was developed was to prevent a team that beat a bunch of relative powder puffs compared to a team that played a tougher schedule from being left based on one mistake. The whole goddamn reason we're here is being completely violated with Oregon at 5. And allegedly, the panel says they take in injuries into account, which they obviously fucking didn't hear because Bo Nix is literally the most experienced quarterback in football and a Heisman candidate. What are we doing?
Oregon's best wins this year, or who? Currently,
you're not doing this easy.
I'm asking a question. They deserve to be in the top 5. I'm just saying, what are the best? Because I'm trying to figure out why they're below Florida State. Because obviously, whether or not we agree that these teams suck, Florida State does have 3 teams in the top 25 right now. Currently, Clemson, LSU.
Clemson doesn't belong there either, and you goddamn.
But again,
don't even bring Clemson in as a good win.
We agree. No. But again, look, we agree they're not good, but they're in the top 25. They view it that way. It is what it is.
Irish Matt.
Be mad all you want. That's how they view it. They make the fucking rules. That's what they have in 23.
That's the problem, isn't
Get mad all you want. That's what it is.
So to this college football playoff ranking, let's see. Utah is no longer there.
Oregon is on.
Oregon State would be their best win.
Who's a better team than Louisville, to be honest?
I just noticed Utah's gone now. I just noticed that Utah's gone.
Utah's out. So Oregon State would be
Tennessee is number 21, and Oklahoma State is fucking 18.
Again, we agree some of these teams don't belong where they should, but the committee are using these. They're telling you why it is what it is.
So they're doing what you do in Tool Time. They're doubling.
But I'm good on what I do. Thank you. Next question. Go ahead.
You can say next question all you want. They're doubling down on their own bullshit. And if you're using that as a point in your favor, that's not a smart analysis, EJ. I'm sorry.
what we all.
Devin says he's enjoying Unhinged Kyle. We're
I
all
fucking
enjoying,
love it, dude.
We're all enjoying it, Devin. We are all enjoying. I'm just mad I didn't bring popcorn into the studio
Kyle.
today. That's what I'm disappointed in
I
myself.
do need a hug. I hate what this committee does to this fucking sport, man.
I'm with you, brother. I'm with you.
Sorry I failed you guys. I didn't bring popcorn tonight, but it is what it is.
Man.
I didn't think we were going to get this. I didn't know. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready.
It's awful, man.
I mean, to this level, yeah, I am a little surprised.
And I know you guys are focused on the Knowles and all that, and I suppose to an extent rightly so, but listen, I've said this from moment one and I'm sticking with it. This is the worst committee outing since there's been committee outings.
I mean, I won't disagree with that.
I'm going to agree with that.
But you wonder why I'm unhinged, man. Maybe some of us care about this sport.
Well, the issues really
guys don't. I'm just saying.
I think the issues really start from 9 down. Really, you think about it.
I mean, I think don't rewind, Kyle.
2 and 9 is good.
8 minutes ago, 4 is where a problem starts.
10 down, there's problems.
But 4 is because of what they've done 9 down. It's why 4 is where they are.
I won't pound the table for it, but I could argue that Ohio State is too high as well.
Yeah,
let me pose it again. What's Ohio State's
I would
best
have them behind Texas
Notre Dame
and Alabama.
Notre Dame is the best win.
I would put Mizzou ahead of them right now, frankly.
Actually, Penn State's best win. I'm sorry, Penn State's best win.
Penn State, who is a fraud.
Notre Dame would beat Penn State.
No, I agree. But again, the committee is telling what they want to tell you.
And for all the trash I talk on your ACC Notre Dame Fighting Irish,
EJ.
By the way, did you see the title of today's report, Jim?
I did. I started listening to it, but it came out late, so I didn't get to listen.
Kyle, I fucking love you, bro. I
Um,
fucking love you.
At least somebody does.
I saw John Paul had a question of what it would look like with it in the 12-team format. In the interest of time and everything else we still need to cover on this show, I won't tackle that today. But it is something that we're going to look at next week once the final rankings are out and bowl season shapes up, and we'll look at what the 12-team playoff will look like next year based on this year's ranking.
I'll give you a hot take real quick though, Jim. Don't be surprised if Notre Dame makes mine.
Honestly, Jim,
that,
if we were to do that, not to go deep dive in this, there'll be more controversy down there because their teams like between 13 and 18 that should be
have no business even in the
okay.
top
So the issue, and it's my bigger issue with the move to the 12 team as a whole, is the rules, at least for I think it's the first 2 or 3 years until the current contract expires and they kind of retool it again, is 6 automatic bids to the highest ranked conference champions and then 6 at-large bids to the next highest ranked teams. Your top 4 teams get a bye, 5 through 8 would host. So like, and not to get into a discussion about it, but like, so Georgia, Michigan, based on this current ranking, Georgia, Michigan, Washington, Florida State would be on a bye. Number 5, Oregon would host to the playoff format. Number 12 on this ranking, number 22, Tulane. Ohio State would host Ole Miss. Texas would host Penn State, and Alabama would host Missouri.
Interesting.
My issue with automatic bids and things like that, and I understand you're shedding some love to some of the smaller conferences and whatnot, is like there will be anomaly seasons, but a number 22 team. I remember a season when, and this is not intentionally to fire up Kyle or for EJ or anybody else, but there was an Orange Bowl where number 22 Florida State, because they won the Big East or the ACC, got an automatic bid to the Orange Bowl and played Penn State, and it was a pathetic, one of the most pathetic versions of the Orange Bowl I've ever seen because of an automatic bid. So like, to me, it's like, if we're going to do a 12-team playoff, shouldn't we just have the 12 best teams, quote unquote best? Again, Kyle, yes, I understand, but the 12 best teams that get in.
It should be the 6. I'm okay with 6 conference champions, and then after that, the 6 best after that.
There's no more Pac-12 soon, so it ain't 6 anymore, guys.
That's true. It's 5.
Yeah. So
that's
But anyway, obviously not gonna tackle that. We will get to what a 12-team playoff would look like.
The ACC could still dissolve. I have no idea what Notre Dame's going to do then.
By the way, you want to put some Kyle more, Jim? Bring back the BCS, Kyle. Bring back the BCS.
Oh, the BSC.
All right, let's go to conference championship weekend. We start Friday, December the 1st. Yes, gentlemen, we are just a few days away from the final month of the year. But Friday, December 1st, 8 p.m. Eastern time on ABC from Las Vegas. It is number 5 Oregon, who is 11-1, a 9.5-point favorite against number 3 Washington, who is 12-0 in the Pac-12 championship. The final, at least as it stands right now.
Insane.
Legal litigation still forthcoming, but I think this will actually be the final Pac-12 championship. EJ, who you got?
This is insane. Now that someone's saying it's 10 points now. God damn! I don't. What did I miss on Washington? Somebody get hurt this week?
I think it's the people's money that's moving it side to side, man.
Jesus.
That number moves. The degenerates are moving heavy. They're not feeling Washington.
Like, is the play here to take Washington points? Obviously, they did beat them early in the year. But I'm oh my God. Look, Oregon wins this game. I'm confident Oregon wins this game. But for out of respect of Washington, what they've done especially this gauntlet they went through the last month or so, I'll take Washington points and give me the over.
All right, Kyle.
Washington over is a fine bet. I really think Oregon wins this football game. It's just too much to ask of this team that has its flaws, and ones that can take advantage of it. And obviously, there is the added intangible that I picked Michael Penix to be the Heisman. So obviously, Oregon's going to win, completely floor that. And for all the times I made dad jokes about nixing Bo is going to nix my Heisman vote.
That's good.
I don't see them covering 10 points, though. I'm going to side with EJ on taking Washington slight over. I think it might be 11.
For the record, on the over-under, when these two teams played earlier this season, the final score was 36-33.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, still taking the over. It's the Pac-12. Yeah.
Right.
So that's where I'll come out on that.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, I'll take Washington plus the points. I think Oregon does win, but maybe by a touchdown, not by a full 10-point victory, but definitely taking the over on that one as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch the spread on this game just because I feel like that 9.5 is reactionary to what Washington didn't do last week, and then even the week prior, again in the monsoonal rain against Oregon State. So I think there's a little bit of disrespect going towards this Washington team. I think Washington covers 9.5. I'm with you guys though. I feel like this Oregon team is just rocking at this point. So I think Oregon does win. Definitely take the over. Devin has Oregon in the over. Jordan says Oregon beats them by 2 scores. Damn.
The hottest. Well, I mean, I said the 11 points earlier. Like,
fair,
that's 2 scores. By the way, the hottest team theorem is a strong one by you, Big Jim. I support that.
Yeah.
All right, then we go to Saturday at noon Eastern time on ABC from Arlington. It is the Big 12 title game, number 18, Oklahoma State. They are 9-3. They take on number 7, Texas, who is 11-1 and a 14.5-point favorite. 55 is your over-under on this one. Matt.
I was going to take Oklahoma State with the points just because I thought that 13-point win for Texas, but I see that Oklahoma State just got blown out not long ago to UCF. So give me Texas minus the.
I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't.
14.5, and of course, Big 12. Give me the over all day.
55, man. That feels
That's
low.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, UCF almost got the 55 with Oklahoma State scoring 3 damn points in the biggest blowout of a ranked team in UCF history. But nobody wants to talk about that. That's why I do it on the black and gold banneret. Bing! Anyways, yeah, no, I'll do the. I'm with Matt. You know what? You can keep your points. Obviously, don't bet this. But I have Texas. I have Texas dominating. This is a team, by the way, that has that had beaten an alleged top 10 Oklahoma, who isn't even in the goddamn conference championship, but nobody wants to talk about that. Anyways, so yeah, give me Texas. Obviously, give me the over. It's the Big 12. I don't care. I do see Oklahoma State putting up more than 3 points, but yeah, with UCF putting out the blueprint, make them throw the ball on offense and see how lucky they get. I don't see how Texas loses this football game, and I think they cover.
For the record, like 5 out of the last 10 Big 12 title games have been under 55 total points. Not saying that that's going to lead much to this
streaks
year.
And maybe broken though.
But EJ, go ahead.
This is in Jory's world, right? Obviously, right?
Yes, it's in Arlington.
So it's actually technically a Texas home game, really, if you think about it. Like it really fucking matters. They're gonna win this game in a blowout. And like I said, streaks may be broken. Could be the over.
All right, yeah, I think Texas rolls with this one. They know that any chance they want to have at chaos reigning and finding their way into a playoff, they have to win. And I think they have to win convincingly. So they're going to go into it knowing that. I think they win. I think they even cover, and definitely taking the over in that one.
I would acknowledge that them blowing this game would also be the most Texas thing we've seen in.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
He ain't lying.
Nope.
Devin has Oklahoma State in the over. So Devin, I mean, maybe just to cover, not necessarily to win.
Yeah, that's a fine play.
Jordan has Texas. All right, then we go to Saturday, 4:00 Eastern time on CBS from Atlanta. It is the SEC title game, and it's number 1 Georgia. They are 12-0, a 6-point favorite in this one against number 8 Alabama, who is 11-1. This one also at 55 on your over/under. EJ.
Give me Georgia cover. I'm good with Georgia covering here. These two teams hate each other. And give me. I'll take Matt a slight under.
Slight. Love it. Kyle.
I'm gonna match EJ on this one. Slight under. Georgia. Blah 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 blah. Oh.
Actually sounded like EJ too. Matt.
He did.
I would have to interrupt you before I say. Oh, see, I interrupted Matt.
You got it.
I'm gonna follow suit here. Slight under. Give me a 28-24 victory here for Georgia. So that means I'll take Bama with the points, though.
That's interesting.
I will go. Georgia will cover the 6 points slightly. And I will take an over. I think Georgia's going to score points. Alabama will score early, but they'll get put away late. So Georgia will advance.
A lot of creativity from that OC, Jim. Don't discount it.
He's going to get creative. He's going to throw a pass.
Going to run a tight end dive on 3rd and 11.
on 3rd and 11. Bold stuff. Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it plays out for him.
This isn't Iowa we're talking
bold
about.
Strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Oh, Iowa's going to be punting on 2nd in their game.
Jordan, again, the Georgia delegation says, for the love of God, just let us beat the brakes off of them. I'll never have a problem with that happening in a Nick Saban coach team.
No.
For the record. All right. Brace yourselves, people. Saturday, 8:00 Eastern time on ABC from Charlotte. It is the ACC title game. Number 14, Louisville. They are 10-2. They take on number 4, Florida State, who is 12-0. A 2.5 point favorite. 48.5 is your over/under on this one, Matt.
I will take the over. Give me Florida State minus the 2.5. A slight cover of that as they win a thrilling 13-10 game.
I can see that totally. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. Boring.
Kyle, do you want to abstain from this one or?
Don't tempt me. Jesus fucking Christ. And you can talk about this being involving one of the alleged best 4 games in the year, and you think it's going to be a 23-year-old freaking good old-fashioned shootout up in this bitch, right? Yes, under. Yes, Louisville, just on general fucking principle. Yeah, but 9th ranked and 4th ranked teams. What a matchup, bitches.
14.
Excuse me. I'm still stuck.
They would have been 9th if they had beaten Kentucky.
Yeah.
Oh no, they would have been 5. I'm sure, according to this. Fucking Christ.
EJ, go ahead.
God, sorry. This game fucking scares me, dude. First, we're gonna bet this game. Bet the under
Rightly
first.
so.
Rightly so.
Thank you, Joel. No, bet the under first off. That's the bet of the game first off. The under. I'm gonna go Florida State just because I have to, right? Come on, it's my team, so let's go with it. I mean, but the under is the bet here.
Homer.
You're damn right. But the under is the bet of the whole game.
Yeah, easily bet the under. Good Lord, this is going to be awful. Luckily, I won't have to watch this trash fire.
What are you
Louisville
doing,
wins. Louisville wins. By God, let's get a little bit of chaos. Slight chaos. Louisville wins.
I remember the last time I saw Louisville in a bowl, they got smashed by LSU with Lamar Demetrius Jackson at quarterback.
That's right.
I want to see if Kyle's fear of Louisville cracking the top 5 before ever. Like I almost want to bet chaos just to see Kyle.
And then lastly, we go Saturday, 8:00 Eastern time on Fox from Indianapolis. It is the Big 12 title game, or the Big 10 title game, excuse me. Number 16, Iowa, they are 10-2. They take on number 2, Michigan, who is 12-0. And a 23-point favorite.
Damn.
Your over-under on this one is 35.5. Jesus. EJ, go ahead.
What they're telling you, is that Iowa will not score a fucking point. That's why.
Basically,
the fact over is 23 points and the over under is literally right next to the number is fucking bad. It should be higher.
It's bad.
It's
bad. It's bad. The Big Ten should be embarrassed by itself for multiple reasons, but should be embarrassed by itself for putting this product out.
Clay Travis actually made a good point in his podcast.
No, he didn't.
Hold on, wait a minute. Let me finish, Kyle. Let me finish, damn it. God damn it.
The scope.
Hold on.
Sure about that.
Starting with the 12-team playoff, do away with fucking conference championships. This is the reason why.
Not a good point. Not
anyway.
a good
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I don't. The Big Ten hasn't figured out how it's going to structure itself. But like they got to do away with the divisions, man. Just have the top 2. Every other conference has done it. The Big Ten still commits this East-West
stupid
bullshit.
Asses.
Like, I mean, again, this year we would get the rematch, right? Like,
it's just as almost as I told EJ just earlier this afternoon, but he wants to bring it up again. So that's cute.
You know, and so yeah, just
want to
do
bring
away with the division
on your show. Well,
yeah. Well, to your point, yes. To your point, Kyle, yes.
But EJ, did you actually make an?
No,
official...
I'm sorry. I mean, fucking hey, dude. Give me Michigan to cover. Give me the under. This is gonna be a 30-3.
You don't think Michigan can score 36? Is that what you're saying?
They'll call the dogs off. Keep guys healthy for.
Will they?
No.
Will they in that game? In that game,
well, give me over 38-3.
I'm just saying, you can pick how you want, but
don't let Jim bully you with his Michigan fandom into changing your pick, EJ. You pick the way
game.
No, I'm gonna go with the under in this one. I think the 33 call dogs off in the fucking late third quarter.
All right, Kyle.
I too have the over. I have Michigan covering, and by the end of the day, Jim's wife will be wearing a Marge Simpson wig.
Marge.
Kyle, you on a roll today, man. What's going on with you, brother?
Matt, go ahead.
You'll never hear me pick Michigan to win a game, except for now. Iowa won't cross their own 35 in this game.
Jesus.
Give me Michigan.
We got it wrong, guys. The 35 over under isn't points.
It's the yard line.
It's the yard line. Under. Then it's the under.
Yeah, give me Michigan minus the 23. Give me the over. Michigan score 42 by themselves. This is going to be a terrible game.
Oh, God.
Oh, absolutely brutal. Give me Michigan even to cover 23. Definitely take the over. 35.5, maybe the minutes that Tony Petitti spends crying after he has to hand the trophy to Jim Harbaugh.
Listen, I made that point about making Michigan stronger, man.
Hey, Jim, can I throw a hypothetical real quick?
What's that?
Say for some fucking god-awful reason the unforeseen happens and Iowa somehow wins this game. Is this such a bad loss that Michigan's out of the playoff?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think you can recover from that.
Indubitably, but
yes.
And here's the thing, especially with everything else that's gone on this year, they're not going to get the benefit of the doubt.
With as many one-loss teams as are waiting in the wings, too, buddy. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
That's a recipe for Texas to get in. You know what I'm saying? Like,
John asked, he said, if the Pac-12 still had divisions, could we have had both the Huskies and Ducks for an undefeated championship game? Possibly. It just depends if they would have met up during the season. Because with divisions, sometimes teams don't play. Like I know Michigan didn't play Iowa during the season this year. So we don't have that reference point. So I mean, it certainly would have been possible. But obviously no guarantee there. We have a fantasy football question. I'll hit that in a second when we move to the NFL. But we will obviously break down the, all of the playoff matchups when we get to next week. We have a fantasy football question. Who to start as my second quarterback on Thursday? Bengals quarterback Josh Browning versus the Jags, or Geno Smith versus the Cowboys? That's actually a really good question. I'd probably go Geno, though. I would go Geno.
You have to. And listen, I'm going to expose my former panelist, Weasel Weeze, here calling in with this. How do you pick against a starting quarterback? I don't care if he's coming out against the Jags defense. What are we doing here? Like, go with the starter, guys. Come on.
Yeah. It's the better play. The Bengals have just been, they're trying to figure themselves out. I think I saw a stat earlier today that Zach Thomas, the Bengals coach, is like 4-19 or something without Joe Burrow. So Zach Taylor, sorry, not Zach Thomas. Very different person.
Yeah.
But
much different.
Zach Taylor, is like 4-20 without Burrow. So I would take Geno. It's not the greatest matchup in the entire world, but like you can score points against Dallas. Like,
don't get cute with this one. Just go to the obvious.
Definitely. All right, let's go to the National Football League. We are in week number 13. I believe the final week of bye weeks, and there are 6 of them. So if you are dealing with some of those fantasy questions, as a lot of people I'm sure are, this one's probably going to hurt. You're in some playoff pushes. Bills, Bears, Raiders, Vikings, Giants, and Ravens all on a bye this week. I know you don't need the Bengals to win. You need points, but I don't think that Jake Browning is going to get a lot of points against that Jags defense.
Not great, Bob.
But speaking of that Seahawks game and the Cowboys, that's where we start this Thursday, 8:15 Eastern time on Prime Video. It is the 6-5 Seahawks traveling to 8-3 Dallas, who is a 9-point home favorite. 46 is your over/under. Matt, we'll start with you.
Can't do it. Give me the Seahawks.
Do it.
That's not a horrible pick here.
No, I'm just with the points itself. I think plus the 9 is where I like the Seahawks. I don't think the Seahawks will win. I know Dallas does typically blow out some teams, but I think in this instance they'll keep it close enough just to make Jim a little stressed on a Thursday evening. So Seahawks plus 9.
Matt, you'll get to watch that in real time.
Oh, well, looking forward to it. Give me the under on that one.
All right, Kyle.
Yeah, my advice is actually don't bet this game. This is sneaky good. I think the stock is just a little too high on the Cowboys right now. If you're to bet it, I think Matt is spot on to taking the points. I will do the same. This is an under game. I feel like this is going to be ugly. I don't know why.
EJ.
Yeah, I'll take Seattle on the points here. I was wouldn't
Can I
bet
say
it.
a slight?
I think Dallas wins this game. Honestly, I think Dallas wins this game comfortably. But I think Seattle scores a backdoor late touchdown just to make it look close, but not close.
So you think it's a bad beat?
Yeah, I fucking touchdown game here. Give me Seattle the points here, but definitely bet the under if you bet anything.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an under game. I mean, Dallas has been putting up a lot of points, but it's been against bad competition. This is the start of a 5-week gauntlet that I mean, maybe not as tough as it looked earlier in the year, but it's still going to test where this team's at more than they've been, for the last month.
And for all that, I could just as easily see this game be a shootout. Go ahead, EJ.
For the record, this is one of the games you were worried about, Jim.
I mean, I am worried about it.
And rightly so.
I mean, they've since the 49ers game, they've played what? The Giants, the Commanders, the Panthers, and somebody else not worth the
So
shit.
Kyle, did the Cowboys lose 6 games in a row going forward? Because remember the 8 wins was the demarcation of what you had before the year started. There are 8 wins right now currently.
Well, and actually, I looked at it. I think it's actually 9.
Okay.
But yeah, listen, can you rule out the Cowboys rattling off 6 straight losses? Because I can't.
Okay.
I mean, I could go 5 for sure. But that last game against Washington,
they suck.
I don't know that you're chalking that up as a loss. If
I'm not saying I am. I'm saying it's still a very Cowboy thing to do, is what I'm saying.
I mean, we haven't seen the Cowboys lose to the Commanders on the last week of the season before, have we?
No at all.
That's fair.
Right. Shut up, Matt.
And actually, no, EJ, yeah, I did look again. I do have the Cowboys at 8. But okay, so if they get just 9 instead, I know that's a damn side away from being a Super Bowl contender.
No, they're tier 2. Not tier 1 yet. This stretch could change that, though.
EJ. I hate
This stretch could change that, Jimmy.
I fucking hate you.
James.
Stop it. I think I'm going to pick the Seahawks to cover. I'm obviously not taking the Cowboys to win this game, but I do think it's going to be close, just enough to make me worry on a Thursday evening. And yeah, I'll take the under, but like Kyle said, this could very easily be one of those games where it does become a shootout. For sure, but
do not bet.
Yeah, stay away. All right, then we go Sunday, 1:00 Eastern time on CBS. It is the 6-5 Denver Broncos. Right?
Oh my lord!
What?
Oh, the Denver Broncos.
What? At the 6-5 Houston Texans, a 3.5-point home favorite. 46.5 is your over/under. EJ, I'll start with you on this one.
Oh boy, this is a huge game. Actually, look at the wild card situation. You know what? I'm gonna keep riding with Denver, man. Give me Denver to win outright. And I will take an under on this one. Slight.
Tell you what, that hurts the CJ Stroud MVP possibility.
It sure does. But I'm
hate to see it.
But I'm a Rusty guy, so Rusty first always.
But he's got to win that comeback player of the year. Kyle?
Yeah, by the way, it's going to be real awkward when Tua wins comeback player of the year because the MVP was Tyreek Hill. Anyways, no, listen,
mine too for record, Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, sure. No, I here's the thing. Even if the Texans lose this game, I'm not prepared to say that CJ Stroud still doesn't lead the Texans to a playoff berth. And still make a hell of a case. Here's the thing. Again, this is another stay away game. I might take the under here. That's about it. I'm going to pick the Texans, even though my co-host from the Duval Dive is here in the comments disagreeing with me. While it's cute to side with Russell Carrington Wilson, I can't disrespect it. I'm not ready to bet against CJ Stroud in playing against a team that is in the top 2 in turnovers and still damn near coming back late to make Doug Peterson pay for a bad clock management job at the end of the first half. That's a thing that almost happened. Yeah, I don't think they come off to a slow start against this Denver defense. I think some adjustments are made. I see CJ Stroud looking like an adult and at least making this game close, as does Russell Carrington Wilson. It's going to be interesting, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Matt?
Yeah, I think Houston bounces back. We see a bounce back for EJ's MVP candidate there. So I would take Houston minus the 3.5. I like the Denver's been stringing together some wins before. Those 5 have come in the Mile High City. This time they're in Houston in the Dome. I think that plays into Houston's hands a little bit. So Houston by 4, slight over or slight cover. Give me the under, though, on this game.
All right. Yeah, man, Denver's playing hot. Houston coming off a loss, but I think I'm going to take the home team to take this one and even a slight cover of that 3.5. I think it's going to be maybe not quite a touchdown and an extra point, but it's going to be close. And I'll take offense for the win. Give me the over.
Ooh. Stay away from this game completely. Nothing.
Yeah. Don't touch it. All right. Then we go 425 on Fox on Sunday. It is the 8-3 San Francisco 49ers, a 2.5-point road favorite at 10-1 Philly, who and it is 46.5 as well. Is your over under? EJ, I'll start with you.
Oh my God. Even more than Chiefs and Eagles, this game looking forward to more than anything else. This is tough. Fucking
Stalling.
my God. Give me. This is a 1-point game.
Show your fanhood.
Give me feeling. Well, my fanhood. Jeez, I have a conundrum right now with that. By the way, for the record.
No, you don't. You've been an Eagles fan all fucking year.
Fuck you. Fuck you. This is a 1-point game. Give me Philadelphia on the points.
Go buck yourself.
Niners win by 1 point. Give me Eagles on the points though, and I'll take a slight over. Actually, a slight over. Yes, that big, Jim. That big.
God, I hate this game so much.
I do. Yeah, I do. Hate these teams.
Because if the Cowboys want any chance at winning the division, 49ers need to win. So give me the Niners plus, and I will take the under slight. All right, we will go to the San Francisco delegation first. Kyle, student of the game.
Oh, yeah.
What do you got?
First of all, I've been told by members of this very panel that I'm the least homer of any Niner fan they talk to. So let the record show that. A, B. The Niners will gladly accept your Christmas card in the event of a victory, Jim.
It's dirty, but it sucks either way.
Yeah. You're asking me to pick who wins with this game. You know who wins? America. This is clearly going to be the best goddamn game of the season. What do you mean, Homer? I'm saying that for Captain Kelly Green here on my left, too, okay? Everybody wins watching this goddamn football game, especially EJ Christian because he's a fan of both teams.
Don't do math.
Don't.
But I say all the above to say, I mean, God, because the Niners, Philly's getting 2 points at home. Philly's going to be pissed. I don't think it matters. Trent Williams is healthy. That's the only reason I'm picking the 49ers, and I think it's the only goddamn reason I need. This might be the only defense that may, and I said may, I'm not disrespecting Jason Kelsey, by the way, may stop effectively the quarterback sneak. That's a thing that might happen. Maybe it doesn't. I'd be glad to see. But at the end of the day, I'm going to take an over here. Simply because I feel like both these defenses attack and are so aggressive. Both coaching staffs are good enough to find that one thing that turns into a score, whether it's A.J. Brown at the distance attacking the weakness that is the 49ers secondary. Not to say they're bad, they're just the weakness. And because Christian McCaffrey, that's any reason for the Eagles to give up a touchdown as they did in the NFC Championship game in question.
One. Yep.
Well, yeah. I mean, hey, this is what happens when you lose your third quarterback in the second quarter. But, yeah, man, it's gonna be a good football game. I don't care.
Game of the year.
If the Eagles win, I ain't mad at it either, man. It's a good football team.
I will be mad at it. Matt.
I will too.
Yes, we know you will. Both you Cowboy fans will be mad at it. Yes.
I mean, I'll never pick against the Eagles. I will say, to Kyle's point with Trent Williams being back, let me keep an eye on what Lane Johnson does this week, because if he's out, then that's going to be a whole world of issues for that offensive line. Mm-hmm. I think that his overcoming the Bills without him is kind of a big deal. I don't know that they can do that 2 games in a row just because of how solidified that side of the offensive line is when he is there. And we've seen them struggle when he's not there. So if he is not able to go, then I think that the Niners would be pretty it wouldn't be surprising if they pulled off the win. But give me the Eagles. Give me the over as well.
If you'd be kind enough to show Travis Holmes' comment there, Jim, I think that he's getting at what I'm getting at.
Yeah, he says the Niners the only defense, the correct rugby technique to stop the quarterback sneak that the Eagles have perfected. In a close game, he is picking San Francisco.
We don't take this DB trash of you calling it the tush push, okay? That's not a thing. Not on this show.
And lastly, let's go Sunday night, 8:20 Eastern time on NBC. It is the 8-3 Kansas City Chiefs They are a 6.5-point road favorite at 5-6 Green Bay. 42 is your over-under on this one. Matt, we'll start with you.
Yeah, Green Bay's been playing a little bit better than I think anyone anticipated these last few games, themselves included. But I think that Kansas City is kind of hit that next level here. So give me the Chiefs minus the points. I'll take them with a touchdown win. Give me the over as well.
All right, Kyle.
Chiefs at current level are a defensive team now. The national media just hasn't caught up yet. They're going to cover. They're going to win. They're going to take the under, I would say, in this game.
All right, EJ.
Yeah, it's about that time for Kansas City to turn on the heat now. So give me Kansas City with a slight cover. Give me over though. The over is pretty easy, actually.
I'll take the over. I think offense is going to reign in this one, but I think the Packers cover 6.5. This Chiefs team has not been. This Chiefs team has not been the most crisp. I understand that they have been playing better defense, but their offense has been suspect. So yeah, I think the Packers at home are going to make a game of it, but the Chiefs will win.
One rough outing against the Eagles, and Jim's a seller. I'm kidding.
I mean,
I'm telling you,
I don't think it's
couple
been one.
Drop passes. That's all it takes.
Yeah, I don't think it's been just one game, but all right, let's go to the thing that we all love the most.
Uh-oh.
I'm not convinced there's not a moving sidewalk in Kyle's house.
The chair has wheels, Jim. What do you want?
God damn it, Kyle.
That's the joke.
Oh. Okay, there you
As we do each and every week, we look at EJ's bottom 5 and top 10 for Kyle and all the kids at home. Let's look at the right side of the screen first. EJ, who's your bottom 5 this week?
Well, bottom 5, I think it's still no. From last week, no, one new team here. 28 Giants, 29 Cardinals, 30 Commanders, 31 Patriots, 32 Panthers.
I like the removal of the Broncos. Obviously, I think the Giants are still a little
Broncos. It's like a month ago.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I have to cite that here because listen, I'm still kind of getting over one of the first pushback tweets I've gotten from a Jaguar Report article that I wrote in talking about what the Jags did differently in the rematch against Houston in Houston. And I referred to the Broncos as a struggling team. But with their recent stretch, it's kind of hard to see them that way. I'm not sold that they're not a struggling team. They are certainly an improving team. I get that. But yeah, I say all that above to say to acknowledge that, AB. I don't think the Giants are low enough, but I'm mad at this.
Yeah, I have Giants at my 29. I have the same 30, 31, 32 as you do. Can I present a team to the panel and gauge your thoughts on this?
The Bears.
The Jets. Next week.
Okay. All right.
Jim.
I put them in mine because they lost in just such creative fashion on a Black Friday, wearing their nighttime uniforms in the middle of the day. It was all sorts of comedy from.
All right, Jim. So you said you have the Giants behind the Cardinals?
I don't have the Cardinals in my bottom 5.
Even though the Giants have a better record, 2 games better than the Cardinals, and they beat them also as well?
It's okay. Listen,
the Giants aren't tanking properly. They belong in this bottom 5.
That's a better answer than the one I had. I was going to invite Ernest to join the college football committee.
I mean, okay.
You know.
But
well, Jim, why would they need to tank? They have their QB of the future.
That is true.
They just need to get a 3 to 5.
Nichols.
He had a 2-block line around a Primo Hoagies tonight. So let's not respect Timmy D, all right? Or Tony D, or whatever the fuck the guy's name
better than
is.
Daniel Jones is, you'll tell you that much. Was fucking
Danny
sad
D?
to say.
What?
And how sad is that? You guys paid him $40 million plus.
Yeah.
Careful what you wish for.
Fuck you, Matt.
No, Matt. It's you that wished for that contract, Matt.
I mean, sorry, wins against the Commanders and Patriots aren't shaking you out of the bottom 5. If you ask me, I just not that the Cardinals are good. I'm not sitting here trying to pretend that, but and maybe they should be at 28 for me. But
The only reason the Giants are ahead of these teams is because they beat the Patriots, beat the Commanders twice, and beat the Cardinals. So there you go. There's your. I mean, and Carolina's fucking Carolina. For you see that what they're doing. So,
well, I mean they beat the Cardinals because the Cardinals do know how to tank properly and gave away that win. That wasn't like a miracle.
Yeah, they're like,
I mean, I know that
do this.
I know that you wrote a whole sonnet to the lore of Danny Dimes after that comeback win against the Cardinals.
A sonnet, bro. God darn.
That was a great delivery, Matt.
That was good. That was great, Matt. Even for a fucking Eagles fan. Fuck you.
You're talking to one of your own, aren't you?
Mr. Humble Brag, you're talking shit to Bills fans, Bills Mafia after fucking Sunday night. I watched you.
You're just mad because his
cry more. Dick.
Any other thoughts on the bottom
fair
five?
To me, I had been drinking since noon that day. So.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I kind of figured that with some of the messages that I saw coming my way on Saturday or on Sunday.
Those are for different reasons.
Yeah, well, of course.
Oh my.
EJ, top 10.
All right, top 10. We talk about Broncos bottom 5, now the top 10 now. All of a sudden. Number 10, Broncos. 9, Steelers. Quiet Kyle. 8, Dolphins. 7, Jaguars. 6, Lions. 5, the Cowboys. 4, Ravens. 3, Chiefs. 2, Niners. 1, Eagles. Hey, Jim, can I get a Broncos drop real quick? Because they're in the top 10, please?
No.
Please. I said please.
No, because they shouldn't be in your top 10.
Come on, man.
They shouldn't be in your
top 10. I said
10.
Please.
No.
There's a lot of bad takes in this.
Look. Here's the deal. I'm not. He did the very wrong. The 9 and 10 spots. I didn't even want to put teams in 9 and 10 spots in mind because I don't think there's any team that belongs in a 9 and 10 spot. But the Steelers and Broncos aren't.
See, remember you text me about the whole thing about top 10. Is this shit done yet? That's why it took so long this morning to do it because the 9 and 10 was the fucking hardest part of the whole thing. Oh, the top 8 was easy as shit. It's 9 and 10 out of
that's the first mistake because you blew that too.
Yeah. Well. Who should be there?
What do you mean?
Okay, here's a quick question. Keep it simple. Do the Steelers and Broncos belong in the top 10 at all?
Not yet.
Okay, who should be there? That's the issue I was having with.
Okay, you having jettisoned the Seahawks at this point is a mistake. Now, if your answer is you're punishing them for losing to the Niners, okay, but the Niners are your second best team. That doesn't make any sense. Even the college football playoff, okay, no, they don't. But the Cowboys at 5, I know why they shouldn't be 5, but I know why you did that. You're punishing the Lions for losing to the Packers. The Jags, therefore, should probably be your 5, managing to emancipate themselves from the embarrassment, air quotes, who we found out the Texans are actually a good football team, by the way, in the meantime, right? So your Jaguar thing of 7 is awful. The Cowboys and the Lions should both then be 6 and 7. The Dolphins at 8, I'm not mad at that. They didn't exactly, not great, Bob. We touched on that earlier.
Well, did we talk about that? That was a blowout on Friday.
Not great, Bob.
What's that?
That was a blowout on Friday against the Jets. A blowout. It was never close.
Yeah, but I don't feel like it was. The score was higher than I felt like the game was. Like you're focused on that.
I mean, it took a miracle 100-yard Hail Mary interception return to stretch that out.
But the Jets were never in that game, though. Let's be real. They were never in that game.
No, but let's be real. You're giving them credit for a blowout win when the Jets are playing to the capacity of a butt fumble, and you're ready to put them in the bottom 5. Which is it, buddy? Anyways, the Dolphins at 8 are fine, like I said. Mm-hmm. Why are you? I don't know why you're fighting me. I said it's one of the few things you got right.
No, I'm fine on that.
You don't even know how to tank properly. What?
Hey, no. Kyle, this is fluid.
That doesn't matter. That just makes you sound stupider. Why do you keep doing that?
Whatever.
Anyways, gosh, at least you didn't put.
I would have the Bills above the Broncos and the Steelers.
I'll allow that. So yeah, I guess we're saying Seahawks and Bills. If you're looking for two teams that belong there ahead.
Yeah, I would Seahawks.
I'd have the Browns and Seahawks above the Steelers.
The Browns is also a fine selection, even though they lost to the Broncos.
So how are you gonna sit there and say that and then Denver beat both those teams? Denver just beat Buffalo and Cleveland. You're gonna tell me that
If it's fluid, that
fuck out of here,
shouldn't
dude.
matter. You can't
No.
have it both ways, EJ Christian.
Well, it can change next week. If they lose to Texans, the Texans back in top 10 next week. Okay, dude. Okay. All right, and I mean that's noticed too. Also, I swapped 2 and 3 this week.
Yeah.
I don't think the Chiefs should be number 3, but the Niners should be number 2.
Wow. Wait.
No, that's not a shock. That's not a shock though. He said that last week too. So to be fair,
I don't know why that. I mean, okay, so a 7-point win over the, as Kyle refers to them, the overrated Dolphins is the Chiefs' best win this year.
I wouldn't say that.
What's their best win? The Jags.
Okay, Ravens ahead of the Chiefs.
Week 2 against the Jaguars. Okay, a 6-point
game
win.
that they arguably should have lost in your defense.
Like Dallas. Okay, I'll get to Jason's comment in a second, but like I think the Chiefs being as high as they are, I think is more based on hubba money. Who do you trust? Right,
and rightfully so.
I know that's why EJ has them there, but this year their resume is not that great. I think the Ravens should absolutely be above the Chiefs.
I would put the Ravens above the Chiefs.
I don't hate it, but I get it.
But I'm also not mad at that 3-4 order. I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
but if someone had the Ravens at 3, I wouldn't be stunned.
The rest of your top 10 is far worse than that.
Here's what's clear: Tier 1 remains 1 through 4. Boom. Tier 2, 4 through 8. Boom. Then 9 through fucking 27 is fucking a clusterfuck.
Stop. Do better. Just do
I mean,
better.
seriously. I mean, okay.
9 through like 16 is probably a mess. 9 through 27.
Every one of those teams has a must-win game right now, guys.
I will admit, though, the Steelers are here. They're solely because of the record. 7-3. Mikey Tomlin, how he's doing it, and the offense look actually better this week without Matt Canada now.
So again, EJ Christian putting out his application to the College Football Playoff Committee that he cares more about placing standings than an actual ranking.
The Steelers are the Vikings of last year. Paper Tigers. They have a negative point differential despite their record.
But there are a lot of paper Tigers here, potentially in this top 15, probably when you think about it. So
I'm not. I hear what you're saying, Matt, about them being the Vikings of last year. However, they did one distinct thing different than the Vikings. They made an adjustment. They opted to go with the South Park defense and decided to blame Canada. See what I did there? So
well done.
They play defense too. Also, they play defense too.
They do play defense.
They do play some excellent defense.
Gotta reward that.
Don't play offense.
They are 7-3. How the fuck they're 7-3 is beyond me, but it is what it is.
Blame Canada.
Defense. So Jason here says Dallas
should
be 9. Jaguars, Lions, Fins are all better than
what
them.
the fuck? 9?
Yeah. Sorry, bro. You're way
insane.
Off base.
You're insane.
Way off base.
Breathe
on that one.
God, unhinged DJ's entered the chat.
That's insane, though. Based on what, though? Based on what?
I mean, is it a stretch to say that the Lions, Jaguars, and Dolphins are better than the Cowboys? Is it a stretch?
I don't think so.
If you want to make the Lions argument, I'd listen to it. If you want to make the Jaguars argument, I would listen to it. I won't listen to the Dolphins argument.
You know what's cool, though?
Dallas, I will not, because here's the thing. The Dolphins and the Cowboys, if you look at resume, are very similar teams. Mm-hmm. And the bigger difference is, I mean, the Dolphins have a plus 88 point differential. 50 of that came against the fucking Broncos.
Thank you.
Okay? 50 of that 88 came against the Broncos.
How much of your point differential as a Cowboys fan was produced by the 49ers? I'm just curious.
Right. So the Cowboys had a bad loss against the 49ers, and they still have a plus 162. Their average margin of victory is like 32 points.
Well, 670 that against the Giants.
Resumes. Who has Miami beaten, Jason?
No,
if
and
if you're so quick to throw around who has Dallas beaten, who has Miami beaten?
And to be fair, too, also the Cowboys at the very least have beaten the teams the way you're supposed to, the bad teams the way you're supposed to.
Right, all of them.
So at least they're doing that.
They have a bad loss to Arizona. But there's a lot of teams in this league with one bad loss, right?
Yeah, I mean,
who have the Jets
including the Eagles, including the fucking Eagles?
Right. Who have the Dolphins beaten? Now the Lions beat the Chiefs. I'll give them that. The Lions beat the Chiefs in week 1. They have also looked worse in the last month.
Yeah, that's accurate. They are.
You know the good thing about this, Jim?
Okay,
Though,
Jason, you keep saying this. Who has Dallas beaten that's over 500? Have the Dolphins beaten anybody over 500?
yeah, same arguments. I'm saying, and also
they beat the Broncos, who are now over 500, but it ain't the same Broncos team.
Correct.
That the Lions beat.
If the Dolphins and Broncos played each other now, that would be a fascinating football game.
Yeah.
I will say this though, but about the Cowboys, the good thing about this, they play both the Lions and Dolphins later this year. So.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, like the Cowboys on paper, it looks gaudy. They have a big point differential. I've said for weeks, we are going to find out starting this week over the next 5.
Yeah.
A lot more about the Cowboys than we've learned so far. But to say the Cowboys should be number 9 on this list, you're fucking wrong. Dude.
I'll say this while Jason's
I'll say it. You're fucking wrong.
If you don't want them in the top 5, I hear you on that. I hear you. But that's about it.
I can see the argument I'll make, since we're making the conversation. I have the Cowboys at 7.
Take the middle. There you go. Boom.
Well,
you moderate.
Actually, no, I said that before we even examined the comment, right?
Oh, I know.
Yeah, so I'm not moderate. I'm not sitting on the fence. I was bold about my take earlier. Jim just got angry.
Look, I defended, because people were making this argument, I think it was last year or the year before, about the Eagles and how they hadn't beaten anybody. And I'm like, here's the thing. Teams don't get to make their schedule. Teams don't get to determine how the teams on their schedule are going to be, right? All you can do is play the games as they're scheduled. And yes, the Cowboys lost a game they shouldn't have to the Cardinals. Besides that, they got their asses kicked by the 49ers, giggled up Kyle, and they lost by less than a touchdown to the Eagles, who are the best team in the league, okay? Otherwise, they have kicked the fucking teeth off of every other team that they have played.
The one thing I will
Dak has been as efficient as hell with the ball, especially over the last month. Again, they haven't played anybody, but he's protecting the ball.
Here's the one thing I'll give Jason on this one with the Dolphins in Cowboys comparisons. The Dolphins doesn't have a bad loss in their resume, though.
They don't?
They don't. No, they don't. All the losses like Eagles, Chiefs.
They got stomped on by the Bills.
They got trounced by the Bills.
Against good teams. Well, Bills.
The
Bills in your top 10.
The Bills
nearly beat the Eagles.
They are.
Bills nearly beat the Eagles on Sunday. So the Bills are weird.
Oh, and what happened? They blew a lead.
The Bills are a weird team now. You admit that.
But the punchline is, to EJ's point, the Bills might be the worst Dolphins loss, which, if they're your weakest link on the chain, that's not a bad thing.
Thank you. You lost to the Cardinals.
I understand that.
That's it. But I'm still making a case of top 5 anyway.
Right.
Even with
and that was a bad loss too.
Yeah,
more than a touchdown,
I'm not
right?
out here banging the drum that was a good.
I'm just talking about the point differential on that one was pretty similar, right, to the 48-20. It was like a 12-point loss,
28 to
14-point loss,
28-16.
Something like that. Yeah, it was a bad loss. They didn't get off the fucking plane that day.
It could be 3 points, still a bad loss.
Yeah, I mean, it was 25-15 or something,
28-16, I think it was.
28-16. Yeah, it's a bad loss. The Eagles lost to the Jets. Okay, cool. Like, I mean, bad losses happen in a 17-game season.
Chiefs, I tell you what, the Chiefs still, their bad loss was Denver. Not anymore. Not anymore.
That was a bad loss when it happened.
Well, yeah, exactly. Just like it was embarrassing for the Jags to lose to Texas, or the Texans rather, at home. Now suddenly, they're a team that should be on the top 10, but EJ opted to diss because reasons.
Well, again, it works out this week. They're number 11 right now. If they
Stop
win
it.
Denver,
Stop
listen.
You blew it this week.
Listen,
Stop
quiet.
You got it wrong.
If they win on Sunday against Denver, which they play this week,
that has
they'll be in the top 10.
to do with your rankings this week being absolutely wrong.
I'll say this: the Denver argument, I can feel you on that one. Pittsburgh, at some point, you got to reward Tomlin that defense.
Do you though? I thought the job.
Again,
the power rankings is to eliminate frauds. You might as well add the Falcons to the fucking top 10 with this bullshit.
I don't think, but the levels to this though, Kyle. Come on, they're not.
It's obviously hyperbole. Come on, work with me here. And I made Jim laugh. Come on.
But as someone who appreciates defense, and also Pittsburgh has a win against Baltimore this year to a top 4.
They absolutely do.
So again, they have some.
Again, every team has a bad loss.
Well, it's a bad loss though. So.
It is a bad loss.
Hey, listen,
that's a game the Ravens should not have lost.
If you want to put
rivalry, all of that, I get it.
If you want to put the Steelers at 11 or 12, I'm down. I don't think they should crack the top.
I better than Seattle. I don't know. I like them more in Seattle at this point right now.
You would pick the Steelers over Seattle.
Yeah. Did they play? Will they play this next couple weeks?
I am not fresh on the schedule. Yeah, there he comes.
Didn't they play this year already?
Before we get to our locks of the week, I wanted to look at one thing because obviously we've seen a couple coaching moves. Josh McDaniels already was fired. Frank Reich fired this week. I put together a list of some potential other candidates.
He snuck Mike McCarthy there at the bottom.
Here's the
dick.
I mean, is it out of the realm of possibility that if the Cowboys go into the playoffs and lose to say, okay, case in point, week 1 of the playoffs this year, if they started today, the Cowboys would play the Fraud Cons.
If they lose that game, you should fire. And
they lose that game. You tell me that Jerry's not going to pull that trigger?
What year is this in McCarthy's?
And to quote a panelist from this show, if he loses a playoff game to the Fraud Cons, he should be launched into the sun.
Fire him into the sun.
Correct.
Get him out. Get him the fuck
Hey,
out.
Jim, you want to do percentage of chances right now based on this?
Sure. So, Brandon Staley.
225%.
100.
220%. 225.
Okay, Kyle, you said 100%.
No, I was making a joke about Josh McDaniels on the list. Listen,
the S stands for sucks.
Thank you, sir. That made me feel good. No, listen, Brandon Staley. I'm going to go 85% because Spanos is unpredictable. But yeah, I think I would be very. Here's going to be my hot take. Watch Kellen Moore at the great frustration of one Jim Neese of the Huddle Up podcast, the CEO in question. Watch him get the head coaching job next year.
They can have him.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's not the Cowboys' problem anymore. Matt, Brandon Staley, odds of getting fired, percent.
100%.
Yeah, I think it's 100%. There was a report earlier today that said, like, barring a quote unquote miracle, he is going to be fired.
Okay, I'll up mine to 95. Go ahead,
Jim, real quick. 99.9%. All reasons why. The 0.% chance he'll be back next year. Number one, they're cheap. The Spanos fans is cheap. And number two, the Chargers are talented enough to run off the next 6 wins.
Yeah, I still don't think it's going to matter.
It won't happen, but I'm just saying they're talented enough to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a stat that they are since and again, Kyle, you and I have been on the same page with this one. Justin Herbert's been getting the Tony Romo treatment big time by the media since he has gotten there. They are a 500 team. They have also given up as many points as they have scored. So,
wow. Yep.
That is a Romo take. Holy shit!
It is absolutely the Romo treatment.
Right.
When it comes to Justin Herbert,
I may be the biggest Tony Romo non-Cowboy fan in the history of fucking football fans. Seriously.
But you are a Cowboy fan.
Shut the fuck up. Next.
All right, next one. Ron Rivera, Washington.
100%.
Kyle.
I will go 95. Just for all the off the field stuff that matches it too. Like, how do you have a minority owner with the popularity and fame of Magic Johnson and then not bring in Bieniemy as the minority coaching candidate who finally got a shot in this camp?
Matt.
So is this that they are fired or they are not coaching the team?
They are fired as head coach.
Okay, I see where Matt's going.
Fired.
Yeah,
I think he steps down at the end of the season.
I think, if the exact quote is that they're fired, 0%.
Okay, let me put it this way, because I think there's another coach on this list that's in a similar boat. Percentage chance that they are not the head coach of their team.
100%.
And now it's back up to 95 from me. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's 100. I wouldn't be surprised to see him move into some sort of a front office role with the team because I think there's a lot of respect there. But I think him as the head coach has run its course.
Yes.
Todd Bowles, Tampa Bay.
I'm gonna say 35% because
they
showed a lot. They showed some promise this year. They've been kind of frisky in games here and there. But I don't know if the ownership group is going to be impatient also. So, and they're still kind of in the South race too also.
That's not a brag, Kyle.
Well, so are the Panthers, and they just fire their coach, EJ.
Well, Tampa's a moron. So
I'm not going to share in EJ's optimism with his 35%. I will say 75. I don't think him getting fired is a must. EJ does have some legitimate points about moments of shine, but if there's a candidate out there that's, say, done with dealing with the BS within the league he's currently dealing with for a highly prominent organization in the league in question who also has NFL experience and has taken another team to the Super Bowl.
I mean, I can see what you're saying, Kyle.
I could see what you're saying, sir. But yeah, listen, and also Tampa Bay apparently being a place where other retirees apparently go to take their final course. But yeah, all the above being said, if the right hire presents themselves or potential hire presents themselves, I think Tampa will take a swing. Otherwise, I think Bowles' job is safe. So
All
yeah,
right.
75.
Matt.
I'd say a 50% chance that he's gone.
Yeah, I'm gonna go like 55, 60. Like I can see them moving on, but I also don't think that post Tom Brady that there's been a whole lot of spice in the cabinet. Like they're just they stacked the deck to win a Super Bowl with Brady. They achieved it, and then now they're playing the Rams game. Like if we're being honest about it, like what do we do now? So yeah, I don't know. It's necessarily
people haven't gotten job interviews based on having lunch with Todd Bowles. That's what happens with Sean McVay. So it's a little different, but I see where you're going.
Yeah. Next one, Sean McDermott, Buffalo.
I'm going to go 25%. I do think that if they make the playoffs with that schedule going forward, he'll be fine. If he misses the playoffs, I think it's likely he'll still be the coach next year, but you'll have one of the hottest seats in the league next year.
All right, Kyle.
Captain Fence Sitter strikes again.
No, that's 100%.
Shut the fuck up.
I think
shut up.
No, you had your chance, EJ.
This guy who has spent the entire year reminding us that he picked the Bills to miss the goddamn playoffs in August now is going to sit on the fence. Well, if they make the playoffs and then come out with 25%. Stop it. You yourself think there is at least a 75% chance that McDermott's out the door because you have already picked the Bills to miss the playoffs. For those of us who picked the Bills to make the playoffs, I'm not sure that the playoffs save him even. So I'm going to go 75%.
Yeah, I mean they're currently in the 10 spot. Just saying.
Yeah,
a half game behind though.
80% chance. I think that this is his last season unless he has a huge run deep into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean
even then, if they get blown out in like the AFC Championship game, I think they look for a fresh voice.
Yeah, we've seen the progression. I've talked about it for multiple seasons on this very show. The Bills are who we thought they were,
but they are who we thought they were.
And yeah, they're not getting any better. I think they're going to make a coaching change. I think it's closer to like 70% that he's gone. Bill Belichick.
I'm going to go 98%.
Right.
I think obviously the situation with him being also the GM as well. I think they're going to present him to either relinquish that job, which I think he'll say no, and then they'll part ways. So I think it's very, very high chance he'll be gone.
Kyle.
I'm with EJ. I'm not going to do anything silly like 98%, but I'll definitely do like a 85, 90%. Yeah, I feel like he will. Until Joey Burke got hurt, I could see the Bengals getting frustrated enough to fire Zach Taylor, and then for Bill Belichick to, in a completely different context, say we're on to Cincinnati. But that'll be. Yeah, no, Burr getting hurt definitely gives Zach Taylor an out to get another year. But I'm not going to tell you where he might go, but I do see a high probability of Belichick departing.
Matt.
Yeah, I think it's pretty likely that he departs at this point. You can tell. Not that he ever looks happy anyway, but he's just miserable this season. And I don't think having zero solutions at quarterback is a thing he's used to. So I think he's going to look for a fresh start somewhere else.
Yeah, if there was a possibility that somehow he could not be GM but remain as head coach, but like that just, I don't know, that feels like it just wouldn't work. Once you have that power, you don't give it up. So I think he has gone from New England. I do think he ends up somewhere else. I'm going to put it in somewhere about the 85-90 range for Belichick. Mike Vrabel, Tennessee.
I'm going to go. I know they said a couple days ago that he's safe, but I'm going to go 5% just to be safe. I don't think it'll happen, for the record. But let's see how they finish up the year with how Levis does. I do think they'll give him the chance to retool the entire team going forward. reset
You
the entire
would say
team.
retool, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would say that. So, but I don't think he'll get fired. I think it's one of the better coaches in the league. To be honest with you, I just think this team's just fucking bad and got old really fast. So I'm gonna go. What did I say? 5%? I said, yeah,
5%. Kyle,
easily your strongest take of the night here is this one, EJ. I don't know that I'm going to go quite as low as 5%, simply because I talked to my friend Teron Davenport at Everbank Stadium after the Jacksonville Jaguar game. Yeah, being to ESPN's Teron Davenport, what a bad mamma jamma he is. Excellent drip, as the kids would say. I can't pull off a bow tie like that, but
TD.
But he had said that the franchise in general has not looked this frustrated since Vrabel's been there. But I don't think that frustration surrounds Vrabel himself. I think EJ's spot on with that. I mean, hell, losing AJ Brown and then you still found a way to compete for the AFC South last year is in and of itself a pure goddamn miracle. Oh, by the way, Derrick Henry being the only thing you deal with, and he just keeps losing weapons and losing weapons. EJ is spot on with retooling. See what I did there too, to double down.
Thank you.
And yeah, I 5%. I'm going to say 15% simply because I think the Tennessee front office is worse than that.
Fair.
But and of course being backed up by insider information like I get from Teron Davenport.
Matt.
Yeah, give me a low percentage, 5 to 10%. For all the reasons stated, I think that he's earned enough trust with the organization to at least get another year. They just drafted their quarterbacks. Give him some time to see what they can do there.
I'm going to go in the 25% range because if we're not talking about just firing, if/when Belichick is gone from New England, I think there's a possibility of a homecoming there for Vrabel. So I think there's a lot of pieces in play for him to potentially move on from Tennessee.
I'll say that if Vrabel for some reason gets fired or whatever, he'll be the hottest name.
Here's the thing: if he gets fired from Tennessee, and I'm not 100% sold that he will get fired, but if he gets fired from Tennessee, and Belichick is gone from New England, I think that is not to lock it up before anything happens, but I think that's going to be the first place that both of those, that team and that coach, look. They're going to longingly search for each other in a crowded room.
So I get why you draw the line, but my take on that is the likelihood of Bob Kraft going for a Belichick light, knowing he should probably get an identity change if he's going to get a new head coach and to do something that has the semblance of a decent offense. I don't see him going for Vrabel or a Belichick type. He's going to be looking, he would probably be more inclined to, I mean, it's cheap to throw out a Harbaugh, but like, I don't know. I can't think of
somebody who's more offensively inclined.
Yeah, right. Certainly that. A name doesn't come to mind. Like if Lincoln Riley got fired, he won't. But if Lincoln Riley got fired, I think he'd have a better shot than Vrabel, for example.
Lincoln Riley were smart. He would just leave Los Angeles. And
never my God.
Dennis Allen, New Orleans.
I'll go 20%. I think he's likely he'll have his job, but another guy that, depending how the season ends, will have a very warm to hot seat next year. But I think he will likely be there next year. But give it a shot. This is year 2, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Kyle. I mean, well, yeah. What has dude had to deal with, but the aftermath of Drew Brees and company, right? You can scapegoat him, and I think that's worth the 20% that EJ throws in. But yeah, this isn't a guy that should be in trouble.
Right. All right, Matt.
Yeah, I would say 5 to 10 for this one too, just because of how early it is in the tenure, and there weren't. I don't think anyone expected, even with Carr coming in, that this was now. Well, someone on this panel said number 1 seed in the NFC, but
did not say that.
No one else has really had that high of expectations for the Saints.
That is a disgusting act.
Matthew did not say that.
Backing into winning.
So you locked them in as your number 1 seed.
I did not say that. Play the tape.
I
mean, every time you ask for the facts or ask us to play the tape, even when presented with these facts, you still deny it.
Relax.
There's a reason he did it perfectly. There's a reason why he's the best black guy I know with his Trump impression.
Don't be rude.
Yeah, I'm gonna go like 10-15%. Obviously, it could happen, but yeah, it's he hasn't been presented with much. I mean, if you're presented with old liver, it's hard to make a 5-course 5-star meal. Matt Eberflus, Chicago.
So this is strange because this similar to like the Chargers. Like the McCaskills are very cheap, historically cheap. This is year 2. So while I believe that he's probably going to get fired, I'm not going to put 100%. I'm going to put it about 85-ish% because I think there's a chance. Number one, they've been playing better last couple weeks for starters. And I think if they somehow show some, last 6 games go 3-3 maybe, then maybe they give him another year of free to see what we can do going forward. But I'll put it 85% still.
Kyle.
Playing better this past week. They won a game with 12 fucking points. What are
They
you
still
talking
won.
about?
They still won a game. They're 4-8.
Shut up,
right?
EJ.
They're still 4-8.
No, right. And
Shut up, bitch.
and Louisville's a top 15 too. You fucking Noler. Shut. Anyways,
Dumbass.
Don't get mad, bitch. Get even.
but no, this is 100%. I don't even know why he's still here. To be honest, I think the reason he is still here is to not give some other poor sap a hope that they might be able to get in as the acting coach. This is going to be a complete reboot, including a shipping of Justin Fields, rather. And the reason why it's going to be that way is you're going to be in a position to hand a new coach and a new GM an entire goddamn rebuild.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, I am going to declare the fat kid in dodgeball defense. This dude is out.
He is out. Matt.
50-50 for me. I'll sit on the fence on this one. I could see it happening. I won't be surprised if it doesn't.
I mean, they are a dumb franchise.
They are.
It's an indictment of the franchise by Matt Muleis there.
Hence, I said they're cheap as shit.
Here's what I'll say. I'll go 50-50. But if Jim Harbaugh decides to leave the University of Michigan,
you'll shed a tear, but you'll understand.
Well, of course,
you'll shed a
tear. But I would think Sharon Moore should fill in nicely as he has already done. But I think
we love his interviews, don't you?
I think Chicago would be a place that will pursue their former quarterback for that rebuild very, very much. So,
well, that number 1 pick in the draft starters, no matter what happens.
Yeah, it's
looks like a good reason to leave.
I feel like Jim's already writing the parody song off of My Sharona.
Yeah, maybe. All right, and then lastly, again, it seems a little silly now at 8-3, but Mike McCarthy, Dallas.
I'm gonna go 15% because if they do lose in the first round of playoffs, he is done. It's that simple. They have to win at least a playoff game. Okay, bottom line. So, but I don't think that will happen. So,
you don't think they'll win a playoff game?
No, they will.
They'll likely be facing.
I won a fucking Super Bowl. What are you talking about?
They'll be playing the number 1 seed New Orleans Saints, most likely. In that
no, right now,
Matthew, I did not say that.
You absolutely said it, man.
I did not say that.
Tell you what, you find the table you didn't say it. How about that? Why put the onus on us? You prove that you didn't say it.
Crooked Hillary. No joking.
Kyle. Jim, completely fake news.
Yeah.
Your trumpet for all my voice acting on this show. Your Trump impression is far superior to mine. It's not close.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Listen, I
think rude.
I think the biggest problem we have here isn't McCarthy, whether he gets fired, is if when he is fired and it comes time to fire him into the sun, as Big Jim would like. If you know Jim's politics, he's going to take issue with going to SpaceX and giving that job to Elon Musk. Anyways, with all of the above,
we'll leave a NASA mission with that one. I'd be fine giving up tax dollars for that.
I'm willing to think you would think NASA would take too long though to execute. But what I'm trying to get at is this: I don't 25%. Now, granted, if they face the 49ers in the first round, 80%. But
they shouldn't face the 49ers in the first round.
That's why I'm saying you're safe for now. I don't know. And joking aside, I wonder if they lose another game to the 49ers in the postseason, like you would have to wonder if that fatigue works against him as well.
Certainly could.
Yeah.
I mean, Jerry's out here this week saying that they have a team that can win a Super Bowl. So
he says that every year. What do we do?
Yeah, but he's getting more of that old man swagger to it, and I fucking hate it. So, I don't know if he's if bringing Jimmy Johnson back into the fold has made him like stupid nostalgic or what, I don't know what's going on.
I'll say that
crazy old bastard, but I'm starting to dislike it even more.
I'll say this. I don't want to be a fence sitter, so I'll say 51% they fire him.
There you go, Matt.
0% chance.
0.0.
I'll put it around 20.
They let Jason Garrett coach that team for 10 seasons, Jim. You think McCarthy's
that guy,
great
Matt, that guy is in
the point in the most appropriate way fast.
That's a great point, though, Matt. That's a great point.
But the difference with Garrett and everybody else is Jason Garrett's in the
family
because he played there. So I think he got the extra long leash because he was one of Jerry's boys since the early 90s. Okay. Mike McCarthy doesn't have that leash.
I apologize. Much like Jason Garrett, I was so busy clapping I didn't see the obvious logic. That's
fine. That's fine. No, I think it's around 20. I mean, like I said, right now they're lining up to play the Falcons. Now, here's the deal: if they lose the fucking Falcons, it's 100%. There's no way you don't recover from that.
Any South team they lose to is done.
Well, yeah, but but currently it's the Falcons, and so just shut up and fucking go with it.
If it's the Saints, though, Jim, you can't be too mad.
I was going to say
exactly. Tell them that, Matt. See, that's a
they're going to be the number 1 seed. So
yeah.
God, I hope it's the Saints and the Cowboys like beat them by 40. EJ, your wife will be so pissed.
Wow.
I'm with you guys. I hate the fucking Saints.
Are they the number 1 seed, or is their season over? I just don't understand which it is, EJ.
Well, they're not the Sixers, Kyle. Come on.
Right. They didn't lose 3 games early on in an 82-game season.
All right. That's what we're doing. Obviously, we'll stay on top of coaching changes as they happen, but we got to make predictions, guys. What's going to happen this week?
You better lock it up. You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
EJ, what's going to happen this weekend? And don't be lazy. You've been lazy most weeks with your locks. Don't give me that fucking
My lock for this week is that top 4 you saw. That top 4 you saw this week in the playoff rankings will not stick.
That's awful.
That is awful.
Fucking terrible, man. What are we doing here?
I gave you the dirty look and you went fucking lazy.
Oh, I mean, hello. Washington can absolutely win, and that stays, and the other 2 teams will win. Florida State wins, and it stays 4. What the fuck are you talking about?
You predicted that the Huskies are going to lose.
I had Washington points, though. That's a lock that Oregon wins that game. I had Washington points. Okay, I didn't put Oregon to cover that game. Did I? I took Washington the points.
You said Oregon wins the game.
Okay, it doesn't matter what I said about that.
It doesn't matter what you said.
All right, I said Washington the points. Okay, I said likely Oregon wins the game, but Washington the points. Okay, so Washington wins, they're in. Florida State wins, they're in. The other 2 teams, no, that ain't happening. Either Florida State losing or Washington losing. So my lock is
do math.
Thank you.
Thank you. My lock is that there'll be a massive change, not massive, but change in the top 4 next week.
Oh, Jesus. You couldn't
Fuck
even,
you, Matt.
That was a vanilla take, and you couldn't even put a little chocolate syrup on top.
I like sprinkles. I like sprinkles, Matt. Okay, sprinkles.
Ice cream with white milk.
I like sprinkles. Sprinkles.
I was waiting for it. Thank you, Lisa Christian. On that part, you did not disappoint. I will put it for the committee, and I have an alternate if you think this is lazy. That the committee will get the top 4 wrong next week.
Lazy.
That's pretty lazy. But what else you got?
Here's my lock. Louisville portends and delivers on justice and knocks FSU out of the top 4.
Lock it up.
I like that. Matt, what's going to happen this weekend?
Iowa Big Ten champs. No.
Wow.
Similar to EJ.
Swag if you predicted that.
Similar to EJ, I will say that there will be a change in the top 4, but my buffer to that is there will be 2 new teams to enter the top 4.
All right.
2 new.
So Iowa does win. Okay, cool.
Sorry, Florida State loses. Texas wins. Oregon wins.
Oregon, Texas, Bama, Louisville all win.
Lock it up.
Let's have some chaos, motherfuckers.
So Texas, say it one more time. Texas, Bama,
Oregon. No, sorry. Yeah, Oregon, Texas, Bama, Louisville.
Jim, you got 5 fingers. Say Iowa. You can do it.
Not a fucking chance.
Marge.
Here's another thing. Hypothetically, let's say Georgia does what they do. Michigan does what they do, of course. You have Oregon wins and Florida State wins. Do you put Oregon at 3 when Florida State?
Yes.
Even though?
Of course.
I'm just saying because the one loss was done.
The Pac-12 winner would just flip.
Would just flips with Florida State.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what should happen is that Washington knocks Florida State out, but the committee will not.
I would keep both Oregon and Washington over Florida State.
If now to the ifs and the hypotheticals and all that stuff, if Oregon Washington is close and Florida State only wins by 1, is there a chance that both Pac-12 teams get in?
Not with the committee, no. They should, but there's no chance with the committee.
No, because that will sneak a conference champion Texas in should they obliterate Oklahoma State.
Ooh.
Okay.
Good point. So FSU saves them.
Okay. What if Texas in that scenario? What if Texas loses?
Then you got 2 Pac-12 teams, I believe.
Okay. I think so too. I think because with Oregon being a almost 10-point favorite as we're sitting here on Tuesday, and Florida State being only a 2.5-point favorite, if they can't cover that small number, but like Washington keeps it close, I think there's a possibility. But Oregon wins. Obviously, Oregon would have to win in that scenario. I think there's a chance that you get both Pac-12 teams.
I think
because they've already told us they think Washington's better than Florida State.
Well, it's possible. There's definitely a possibility, but
they
rightly so.
I think that Washington's better because they're looking at the record, not their prowess on the field.
And also, homerism aside, they're a better product right now. Forget the fact that Florida State and the AC thing. Also,
who's the better?
No. You know what I said?
No, I didn't.
Oregon and Washington will be
who's
the
better product?
I just said Oregon and Washington will be the better product for the four, to fill out the four, as opposed to Florida State, because mainly, even the 13-0, no Jordan Travis. Now, Jordan Travis is playing the story.
Which allegedly the committee is supposed to take into account,
right, but
still clearly has not.
You still mad about that?
I mean, okay, not to defend the committee too much, but like but when Jordan Travis got hurt, that was the week that we saw Washington, rightly so, go above Florida State. They've still kept that metric. The difference is Ohio State came out of the top 4.
I still think that wouldn't happen because of the fact they beat Oregon State, who was a top 11 team at the time.
There you go. Telling me.
So.
All right. EJ, plug away.
Earnest Week Podcast, all podcast catchers, youtube.com/@ErnestChristian. That's it for me.
All right, Matt.
Yep, you hear me on Mondays on the Maximize Monday podcast, Tuesday and Thursdays on the 3CT podcast. Every once in a while, I guess now we can say on the Earnestly Speaking podcast, since I've done more than one in a year.
Hit your quota.
You do charity work, Matt. Just say
it's a Giving Tuesday. Do what I can. I like to give back. You can follow me on all social media at Teaching to the Choir.
All right, student of the game, Kyle Nash, plug away.
Matt, you're due to come back on the student of the game sooner than later. Shoot, with all that charity. No, of course, I'm Kyle Nash, the student of the game. Of course, student of the game podcast. Check that out Wednesday night at 8:40 p.m. Eastern. But Kyle, you're covering the magic for A7BN Sports. How are you going to have the show? Through the magic of technology, elements of the Student of the Game report. If you missed that, we'll be airing tomorrow night on this YouTube channel, as well as Sartoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome, as well as the ASMB Sports Facebook page, as well as my Twitter, which is at the SOTG. Of course, my Instagram is the SOTG. My Threads is the SOTG. My Twitch is the SOTG, where you can also see the podcast in question, as well as the Student of the Game on Facebook. Of course, check out my writings with Jaguar Report. This week, I will be covering a Monday night game for Cincinnati. Pray for me. You'll hear from me there as well, doing interviews that you will see come up on the 3 Point Conversion YouTube channel. Also, you can hear on the 3 Point Conversion iHeartRadio channel the Duval Dive, which drops at 11 on Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, by the way. So check that out as well. Of course, my work with the Black and Gold Banneret covering UCF. Not sure what their bowl game is. We'll probably figure that out this weekend. We'll see if it's in the state of Florida or not before I talk about whether I'm going to be there. But check that out. Also covering UCF basketball and doing all the above with the Black and Gold Banneret.com, as well as the Night Shift podcast and my work as well, doing the Pro Sports Fans app. That's a good time there too. You'll see me giving live game reaction from Everbank Field that night. And for away games, I do media casts with my good friend Travis Holmes of Big Cat Country, with whom I do the Duval Dive podcast. An honor, joy, and privilege, fellas. But until next time, class dismissed.
Yeah, Kyle, I believe all of the bowl matchups will be hashed out on Sunday, so we'll react to some of those, look at some of the bigger matchups. Of course, look at the college football playoff semifinal matchups and much more next week. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Everybody who interacted in the comments, man, that was a lot of fun, a lot of action there. Yeah, just remember, you can watch us live and interact with us live in real time. So I certainly do appreciate that. You can subscribe to us on all podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, everywhere you can find your podcast. You can get our YouTube channel as well. You can get your merchandise over at tpublic.com. Hit the link tree in our social medias. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok at Huddle Up Podcast. You get me at Big Jim Sports. Make sure you follow the show. We certainly do appreciate your support each and every week. And until next time, stay safe, stay smart, and as always, go for the win.